You did.
I know there's a reason for everything. That's awesome.
Well, I'm just here with you for the first 45 minutes.
Oh, are you? They
Just,
made you
yeah.
get why? Why you wanted to?
I wanted
Because
to
of Mitch.
be, because of Dick.
Oh,
Because of
because of, you're right.
Mitch.
It's
of
Dick's
Mitch.
last day.
I know
thought,
it's
you know,
Mitch's.
for the
I know it's
announcement.
Mitch's world, but this is about Dick Hafner.
That's right. It's Dick's last day. He's got his Hawaiian shirt on. Oh,
Well, I
this was
figured
his hat day.
it'd be either that or the In-N-Out burger shirt that Kim got him. I know it'd be one
Oh,
of those. Is one of his favorite places. I don't think he can hear us until we get on the air, though.
right.
That's the system that continues to be the bane of our existence. I don't
That's
know.
nice of you, Paul W.
Dana, I said if it was really nice, you'd just do the whole
I'm Dick
show.
Hafner,
and-
WGR
True.
News, and now
I don't even know what
Kevin Dietz and the gang.
From the great
You
voice
do
of
the open,
Lakes,
Kevin.
Okay.
this is Paul W. Smith on WJR with Kevin Dietz filling in for Paul.
Good morning on this Friday, December 11th, 2020. We appreciate you taking some time to stop by and listen on WJR 760, where Detroit comes to talk. We're also live on Facebook this morning, and we have a little programming note for today. Please make time to listen to WJR today between 10:30 and 11 a.m. as we salute the retiring Dick Hafner during the Frank Beckman Show. The Roundtable has assembled. Dana Clark, it's Friday.
Yay! Happy Friday, everybody.
Happy Friday! Dave Rieger is in for Ann Thomas. Good morning, Dave.
Hi, guys.
And we have a
King
special
Ben.
guest on the Paul W. Smith Show this morning. Mr. Paul W. Smith has joined us. Good morning.
Woohoo! Right out of bed and on my way right back to bed. But when I set this whole vacation thing up with Ann, I didn't realize that it was going to be Dick Hafner's final day of broadcasting, at least as our news director and with news. So I said, I can't miss that. But I didn't go crazy, Dick. I'm just here for the round table, not for the whole show.
I understand completely.
And with
You know,
that,
It's
Dick,
not
we
the
have to ask,
same.
Dick, we just have to ask you quickly, how are you this morning?
You know what? I am just peachy. I couldn't be better. 100%.
All right, we just
And
have
there's
to
a
check
lot
in
of
with
people
that.
who are not 100%, you know, in these hard
Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
And I want to be 100% for them today.
Awesome.
100%.
You've been 100% for people for 51 years over the airwaves of various radio stations in Detroit. Most of your broadcast career right here at WJR, and most of those years as our WJR news director.
I've been in a very pleasant rut.
It's been one of the, and you know what? It's been one of the best ruts
Mhm.
in the country and in the history of radio when you consider that you are truly, I know you're going to hate to hear this, a legacy talent on a legacy radio station, and you have decided to retire and end your career your way. Brian, cue my way, Frank Sinatra. Because unfortunately, the truth of the matter is, and our listeners know this too, in radio, sometimes you wake up, you turn on the radio, and your favorite person is gone, and no one ever says why. They just are gone, and everybody carries on like everything's normal. But Dick is not being handed a box and shown the door, as has happened to radio people since radio began. Dick has decided, he has picked, he has chosen to decide to leave now. And it's our loss, his gain. He's left a legacy in radio and in WJR News that whoever becomes the next news director will do a great job. And I hope they will carry on the tradition that I've pointed out a number of years now is your tradition, which is presenting the news the way it's meant to be presented, as news and not as opinion. And that's a rare thing these days. And we appreciate you, Dick, and all you've done.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you is not good enough, but it's all I've got right now.
Well, you think about it over the break because we're going to celebrate you a lot harder after we take a quick break and check traffic and weather with Dana Clark.
This report is sponsored by SafeExcavator.com. Call or click 811 before you dig. There's a lot of stuff underground you can't see, and every few minutes somebody digs into a line, pipe, cable, or wire. Don't be that person. Call or click 811 before you dig and visit SafeExcavator.com.
Traffic First sponsored by Primetime Testing Laboratory. They offer complete automotive testing services. Primetime guarantees on-time delivery, accurate result reporting, and are a 2LA accredited for your next automotive project. Hire Primetime Testing Lab. Get a free quote at primetimetestinglab.com. That's primetimetestinglab.com. Off to a great start this morning. Accident-free, no delays. Upcoming construction, though, 94, both directions between Gratiot and 75. That's going to start at 9 p.m. tonight. All lanes will shut down in both directions until 5 a.m. on Monday. That's for bridge beam setting. Now, WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel, sponsored by the Mechanical Contractors Association of Detroit. When your commercial, industrial, public, or residential project calls for plumbers, pipe fitters, or HVAC service technicians, the Mechanical Contractors Association of Detroit connects you with the very best, highly skilled and trained union contractors. To get started on your next project, visit mcadetroit.org.
Sorry, snow lovers, going to have to go north up in the northern parts of Michigan and experience any snow from this system coming in for tomorrow. Seeing the clouds thicken up here this morning and into the afternoon. If not cloudy yet, you will be 45. Showers early tonight, steadier rain later, chilly 39. Saturday, periods of rain, highs low 50s. Sunday, mostly cloudy, colder mid-30s. From the Weather Channel, meteorologist Ray Staging on News Talk 760 WJR.
It's 5:44 on the Paul W. Smith Show. Let's check in now with Rush Limbaugh.
The Chevy Camaro, one of America's iconic muscle cars. But if you live in California or Washington State, 3 Camaro models, the SS, the Z11-1, the 1LE, are going to be off limits to you starting January 1st. The Camaros are being banned because of what's in their brake pads. 10 years ago, both California and Washington State enacted stringent laws to limit the amount of copper that automakers are allowed to use in brake pads. Well, here's the problem. Whenever drivers apply their brakes, it kicks off a tiny amount of brake dust. That brake dust includes particles of copper and other metals used in the manufacture of brake pads. The evil, toxic brake dust then gets deposited on the road. The wind blows it all over the state and then all over the world. And ultimately, this brake dust mixes with rain. It gets washed into the rivers. And here's the worst aspect of it all. Copper is bad for fish. It messes with their sense of smell. It makes it easier for other fish predators to kill the fish that have been exposed to brake dust. So no Chevy Camaros for you muscle car fans in California or Washington, at least until Chevy gets rid of the copper brake dust. Bad for you, good for the fish. Do you believe this?
Rush Limbaugh, noon to 3 today, right here on WJR.
I thought for sure he was going to say asbestos. Remember how we used to think of brake pads shedding a little asbestos? That was a long time ago. They probably outlawed that a long, long time ago. I'm loving just being a guest on the Paul W. Smith Show with Kevin Dietz sitting in.
Dick, what are you wearing today there, buddy boy?
Oh, Hawaiian shirt. People are loving it.
Can't hear it. He can't hear it.
Oh, that's right. He can't hear it when we're well. It's when we're not on the air for whatever reason. His system doesn't kick in the way all the rest of ours do. But all the people who are weighing in are Paul's pals that are watching us online and get to hear this little chit chat behind the scenes, kind of a window into what goes on behind the scenes. There are so many people congratulating Dick, saying like they feel they're losing a good friend. We all feel that way, and it's just it's heartwarming. It's wonderful to see all of the people with their congratulations and you know we've been getting a lot of that from other people in and out of the business who have been helped by Dick Hafner. I was helped by Dick Hafner. I'll tell you a little story when we come back when he can hear it. It's something. the number of people he's touched in his 51 years.
Well, he's just always been so generous. It's unbelievable. Anybody who would call or send an email in, in high school or college or anywhere, he would always answer the call and do anything to help anybody. It's just a wonderful.
People used to send him cassettes that wanted to get into radio, and he'd listen to them, and he'd call them back, or maybe write him. I'm talking about even before email and stuff. He'd contact them back and give them tips, and many of them he helped in the industry. Not to mention all the other people he's helped with his medical report.
That would be intimidating. That booming voice calling you for a critique of your radio cassette.
Oh my God.
I'd be like,
no. I found this letter back from when I was an intern here at WJR back in 1994. It was where Dick signed this letter, and he sent me to my first thing that I ever covered, which was the G7 summit at Cobo Hall.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
1994.
Dave, good for you. What a great thing to have. What does it say? Can you tell us? It looks short enough that you could just share it.
It says to the White House G7 staff, David Rieger is a WJR News employee assigned to our G7 coverage when I was actually just an intern. David is on your credential list for WJR. Please credential David Rieger for the G7 Jobs Conference. So I still have the credential for it, and the Ameritech phone card they gave me that I never used in case I needed to make a call from Cobo Hall.
Now back to more Paul W. Smith, WJR. Once again substituting, here's Kevin Dietz.
You're listening to the Paul W. Smith Show this morning, and the Roundtable is here. Dana Clark, Dave Rieger, Dick Hafner, and our special guest, Paul W. Smith, who is here to help us celebrate Dick Hafner's final day in radio.
Oh, Dick, you couldn't hear us talking earlier about the number of people we have heard from that you have helped both in our business and out of our business, and all of the people weighing in this morning who are wishing you congratulations, saying that they, just like we, are going to miss you. We feel like we're losing a friend. We are losing a friend, but the good news is you're still going to be around WJR, and I don't know that we've made that as clear as we should. I know I wrote my this coming Monday's column in the Detroit News all about you, Richard. But I didn't, it's only 300 words, and I couldn't get much of what I wanted in there, including the fact that you're going to be doing some very special features on WJR in the days ahead. I don't know that that's all solidified, but I know that we still will hear your voice and your expertise on WJR, just not every morning like we're used to.
Right. Some plans are in the works for the station allowing me to do some special reports, some features, health and medicine oriented, which is one of my interests. Later in my career, I learned firsthand the importance of that and the technological advancements which have occurred, and they've fascinated me. And so I'll be able to delve into that from time to time. So hopefully my voice will be heard on these wonderful airwaves. But I will tell you, most of the time I will be gone. I am retiring, and I'm not coming back to do newscasts. And I'm so grateful to all the listeners who've come forward and offered me their good wishes. I can't tell them enough how much I appreciate it.
Kevin told a story that you couldn't hear earlier, and our listeners on 760 WJR here at 551 couldn't hear either. So I'll clue everyone in on this one, and because I don't think this is going to be the case with Dick, and that is, he said, Kevin said when he was in the television business, that Bob Bennett, another old warrior in the broadcast wars, if you will, when Bob Bennett retired, he continued to come into the television station early every morning, like he always did. He'd sit in the newsroom, taking in the ambiance, reading the newspapers, having his coffee, and then leaving before management came in for the day. And I thought about that for a second, and I thought, Dick won't be doing that.
No, but I admire the boomer. Yep, that's the boomer,
Bennett.
all right. Yes,
The boomer.
sir. We all loved him. We all loved him.
He was a great guy.
Great newsman.
Yeah. He was everywhere. You know, if you go out to a news story or anything, he was there, of course. But, you know, everything's changed. First of all, you know, when it was set up that from all my vacation time was placed out because of the use it or lose it rule and all that stuff. Of course, having this day off, I didn't know it was going to be your last day. And I literally woke up, couldn't sleep. And I said, I cannot believe I'm not there with Dick on his last day. So Kim said, well, yeah, call Brian. I'm sure, you know, Kingpin, those guys can get you in. And, you know, so I feel like
on your show.
I'm a guest on my own show. And I'm
Sorry,
so
Paul, your time's up. We have to move on to our next guest.
I'm not watching the clock now. I'm so glad that Kevin was gracious enough to have me on here like
Thank
this.
you, Paul. Thank you. You're my special connection to a lot of things, and as you know, so I can't thank you enough.
Dick and I have had we've had one especially very long conversation in the last few weeks regarding his life, our lives, how they've interchanged. I've got another story, but I'm going to save it for after the 6 o'clock news. But there's a lot of stuff that we have said that probably will remain between Dick and I. But I hope that everyone can see and feel the respect I have for Dick Hafner and how important a role he has played in the success of this morning show. That is going to be with us forever. I don't know who's coming up next, but I know Dick has set the stage and set the die. The die has been cast for what WJR News is, and under Dick's leadership since 89 as news director, this radio station, this news department has a legacy of winning virtually every local and national award in radio broadcasting that exists. We're talking Peabody's. We're talking Edward R. Murrow's. We're talking AP National Awards, the MAB, the Fine Michigan Association of Broadcasters. I think Dick has been involved in more MAB awards than anyone else in the history of radio in Michigan. So it's a big legacy, and it's big enough to get me out of bed on my day off to be able to spend a little part of this time with you. And the part that's different is that we're not all together in the radio station. Yeah. You know, Bob Bennett came in to be in the newsroom with everybody to feel that ambiance. That ambiance hasn't been there since March of this year because we haven't been able to gather. So it makes it a little bit different to have to say goodbye to you while you're sitting in my house and Dana's in her house, Kevin's in his house. Kingpin, are you in the studio? So you're in the Golden Tower of the Fisher Building. I'm in my house, and Dana and Kevin and Dick. But it's not quite the same as gathering together in the newsroom or in the studio and raising a cup of coffee and saying cheers to you, Dick. But the sentiment is there from all of us. And I'm going to
feel it through the radio. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, we're going to take a quick break and then be back with more of the Dick Love Fest. You're listening to the Paul W. Smith Show.
Isn't it great letting Kevin do all this work? I'm just sitting here.
Exactly.
I don't have to hit any marks.
Let's check traffic and weather with Dana Clark.
This report is sponsored by SafeExcavator.com. Call or click 811 before you dig. There's a lot of stuff underground you can't see, and every few minutes somebody digs into a line, pipe, cable, or wire. Don't be that person. Call or click 811 before you dig and visit SafeExcavator.com.
Traffic First, sponsored by the Cremation Society of Michigan. For over 32 years, the Cremation Society of Michigan has been providing dignified cremation services without the cost of traditional funerals. For cremation information, contact the Cremation Society of Michigan at 1-800-241-3600. 3131 or visit cremationmichigan.com. Construction this weekend along 94 in Detroit, both directions between Gratiot and 75, 9 p.m. tonight. All lanes will shut down for construction until Monday, 5 a.m. Now, WJR weather first from the Weather Channel, sponsored by shelving.com. Finish the year strong and save 11% on industrial storage from shelving.com. Double your floor space instantly with modular mezzanines or maximize vertical height with in-stock Unirack pallet racking up to 20 feet high. Don't miss 11% off the storage your business needs with code WRAPUP11. That's shelving.com. We rack your world. Starting off today, cloudy skies, 33 degrees, some fog in the air this morning, peaks of sunshine here and there, but mainly cloudy, a high of 48 tonight. Rain showers early, then steady rain overnight, your low 39 for the weekend. Looks like clouds, periods of rain on Saturday, thunder possible, a high of 53. Much different on Sunday, overcast, your high 37. I'm Dana Clark, WJR News with Dick Hafner in 2 minutes.
We sent Dick away. We can talk about him now.
That's right. Instead of a way to go, he had to go do news.
Mm-hmm. I suppose it'll be odd for you guys on Monday to, just pop on the show and Dick's not there. I mean, obviously he has days off, but it'll be interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
I was reading the people here. No, I'm not, honey. You're 15 or 20 seconds behind. So anyway, if somebody wrote something on the side here. Oh, here it is. Patrick Mendez, one of our regulars in the morning. We have several now, but virtual handshakes and hugs are not the same, but it's all we can do right now. That's the reality. Oh, there it is on the screen now. Good. Yep. I'm sorry, Kevin, you were saying something and I was off
saying,
for a moment.
I imagine it'll be odd for you guys to reassemble Monday and not have Dick there. Obviously he has days off from time to time, but it'll be different. It'll be something you guys have to get used to as well.
Marie will be filling in for the time being. No decisions have been made as to who the news director will be, although our Annie, who started in news here at WJR, for those who don't remember back then, started in news, will be the interim news director. And Marie will be, at this point, the interim news anchor in the morning. And as you say, Kevin, it was not unusual for Dick to take a vacation time. And generally, it was Marie that came to fill in for him. So it'll feel like he's on vacation Monday, but we'll know. But as somebody in here wrote, he'll always be in our hearts, and we'll always remember the way he did what he did. And somebody famous once said, "It's not what you do for people; it's how you make them feel." And Dick has always made us feel pretty good. Pretty good.
One of a kind, for sure.
Yeah. Special talent. One of a kind. And as I said, he presented the news the way it was supposed to be presented, as news. And Kevin, I know you know what I'm talking about when I say that, in a world now where we have people who write for newspapers and are on television and on radio that present news in their own opinion. It's their opinion rather than the news. I have never seen, it was all last night as well, I've never seen so many news people make a determination about a story as they're presenting the story in more unfounded charges. I never heard them say that when they were talking about the Russian collusion. Nobody ever said in unfounded or unproven charges of collusion with Russia. They just said in charges of collusion with Russia. I don't know if people understand
They used to throw allegations in there, as a safe gap, but now they just tell you exactly what they think, right in the headline, right in the broadcast. I think people are hungry for straight news. I am. I tell you.
I think you're absolutely right, Kevin. Bill Bray said he recommended the other day too that we should have Dick as the voice that says now the Paul W. Smith Show. It's reminiscent of when I took over Focus for J.P. McCarthy. J.P. did the open for me. Ed Head, the announcer, always used to do the open for Focus with J.P. McCarthy. And then when I started doing Focus, it was J.P. McCarthy's voice introducing me. So that's a good idea. I'll run that by the bosses and see if we can get Dick to record that. So we'll always have a little flavor. Although, is that fair to the next person coming in to be the news director, the newsman? For the first 2, maybe 3 years that I was doing the morning show, we did tributes to JP all the time. It makes it a little more difficult to let the other person have a smooth transition into doing their job, if you know what I'm saying. So I don't know if that's
sure. That's it's the shadow's going to be long enough.
Whoever took over after Bill Bonds left Channel 7 News didn't want to have Bill Bonds saying, and now here's whoever it is, because then you'd go, oh, Bill Bonds, I miss him.
Have a pleasant, peaceful evening, and if all goes well, we'll be back tomorrow night. I think
it's kind of like what happened when Rick Riz and Bob Rathburn tried to take over for Ernie Harwell.
An impossible job.
Yeah.
Just impossible. Yeah. It's what people said to me when I was going to leave the East Coast and come here. First, they said, "You're going to Detroit?" Because Detroit didn't have the best of reputations, and then they said, "You're going to take over for a legend in radio? What are you, stupid? Are you crazy?" I guess I was. That was 25 years ago. And little Dana was waiting to be born.
Yeah, I totally feel old today. I mean, I was an intern here in the newsroom in 1994. I feel real old.
1994.
Yeah, in the early 90s when I was in college. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Well, this radio station is such an incredible radio station. It's nearly, I don't know no one ever says it anymore, but Kevin will find this out for us because he's still a newsman. We're like nearly 100 years old. I don't know what it is exactly, but it was 90 not that long ago, and no one makes a big deal out of those things anymore because they're afraid it makes us sound too old. But I think it's a badge of honor, frankly.
No, it's amazing. It's an amazing place. I'm sure Dick loved showing up every morning. I know back before everything was closed down and you worked from home, when I'd fill in for you, Paul, I just loved driving down the boulevard and seeing that golden tower. And, there's just something special about pulling in and that's amazing.
And walking from the parking garage through that massive lobby, I tried to always still see it. Because, you start to take things for granted. And that golden tower of the Fisher Building and that lobby of the Fisher Building, magnificent, one of a kind. And every time I look up or look around, I see something new that I hadn't seen or didn't remember seeing. It's really a great place. Good for you, Kevin. That's a nice...
According to Wikipedia, the WJR's first air date was May 4th, 1922.
Coming up on 100 years.
So yeah, that's pretty close.
Yeah, we're very close. I hope we celebrate that.
From a great voice of the Great Lakes, this is Paul W. Smith on WJR with Kevin Dietz filling in for Paul.
Trying to figure out what it was.
Good morning on this Friday, December 11th, 2020. We appreciate you taking a little time to stop by and listen on WJR 760, where Detroit comes to talk. We're also on Facebook Live, and our Facebook Live comment section is blowing up, as is our email. People sending well wishes to Dick Hafner, who's here with a fishing pole right now on Facebook Live and a Hawaiian shirt. Your shift isn't over quite yet. You still got some work to do.
I knew things were tough, but if through his house a river runs through it, that's good for you, Dick.
I was wondering what that was the whole time. Like, Dick has already started construction on his house.
Going fishing. You could mistake it as a golf club, but it's not a golf club. It's it's a good old fishing pole.
Nice.
Man, oh man.
Those fishing poles where you catch the golf balls that you hit into the water. You retrieve them with them.
You know, he doesn't have his Lions hat on, which is most unusual because people have actually commented at the comfort of seeing you show up every day with your Lions hat. What does that one say, Dick? If you can Dick,
he's got his Lions
Albacore. This is the Albacore fishing charters.
Okay.
From my old friend Al Lesh, who was a charterman on Lake St. Clair and Lake Huron, Lake Erie, and the Detroit River many years ago. My friend Al Lesh, who passed away a few years ago, he took me walleye fishing many a time, a real expert, and this is one of his caps. So I miss Al a lot. And talk about legacy. I try to live up to his legacy whenever I get on the water, but I can't quite do it as well as he did. Now, for the Detroit Lions, here we go.
I'll throw that to the side.
It's an extra special day that he's wearing two hats. And, you know, Dick has worn many hats as a reporter, as an anchor, and in these last several years since 1989.
I
of
need
course.
him.
Yes, you do, because you throw several hats into the ring, and you've got to keep your head warm. You know, the good Lord only made a few perfect heads; the rest he covered with hair. So, 1989 as news director. Let me tell you something. He's been doing this radio thing for 51 years. He's a hometown kid. He's a Detroiter, and he's done everything he's done in Detroit and done it well. And we've heard from so many people. And Dave Rieger talked about, were you around, Dick, when he read his little letter that you sent him for the G7? I mean, people keep things they get from Dick Hafner, and Dick Hafner has helped so many people we've heard from in these last few weeks in broadcasting, listening to their cassettes, encouraging them, even outside of broadcasting, it goes without saying. But I'm one of those kids who was helped by Dick Hafner. Think of this, Dick. This had to be 45 years ago.
A long time ago.
I was in Toledo, Ohio, doing a radio show. I had a great career in Toledo, did radio, did television every day. And I get a phone call from Dick Hafner, and I don't even know how or why we knew each other. But Dick called me. He wasn't at JR at the time, and I was at Toledo. And he said, you know, if you ever want to leave Toledo, there's a job opening at CKLW. They're looking for a morning man. You ought to throw your hat into the ring. And if I had not gotten that call, I'd probably be very happy still in Toledo, Ohio. But because of that call, I, in fact, ended up going to CKLW for a very short period of time, 11 months. They were trying to make the transition from the Big Eight and the music to a talk station. But I was heard by WJR. That got me hired to do weekends and the official fill-in for J.P. McCarthy. And I did that for a long while. Then I was doing Focus for Joe. And then I was going to New York on Fridays, doing Monday through Friday at WABC. Then every Friday, getting on a plane and coming back to Detroit and doing WJR in the morning, Saturday and Sunday. But without that phone call, Dick, I wouldn't have been on the path that I have been on, which took me from Toledo to Windsor to Detroit to New York City to Philadelphia, and then unbelievably 25 years ago back home to WJR. And I've never had an opportunity to thank you for that phone call some 45 years ago that you certainly didn't have to make to let me know about a job opportunity that truly changed my life.
Well, it was pretty simple for me, Paul W. You owned that town when you were there in Toledo, and I knew of you because I know Toledo. It's a great town, and
Great town.
I hear and know a lot of people in Toledo and knew of you, and I knew you weren't going to be there for very long, and I thought he's got to come here. He's got to come north of the border. So made that phone call, and here we are.
And how many people have you made those phone calls for and helped in your 51 years in broadcasting? That's over and above all the people listening now, the people who are writing in on social media, the people you've helped every day by setting a standard of presenting the news and keeping that standard of presenting the news as news and not as your opinion. It is as rare as it can be now. But hopefully you've affected a bunch of young folks that are coming up in news that will see how important and how effective that can be.
I heard from my predecessor, Mike Friedman. He was only in this job as news director for a very short time. Another local, terrific, great newsman. He went on to CBS Radio to run the CBS Radio shop from WJR and has been with the George Washington University for quite a number of years now. Heard from Mike, my predecessor. And in thinking of that, I have to point out that I didn't create any wonderful legacies of integrity and objective reporting and all the other things you're talking about. I didn't create that. I inherited it from a great, great news department, legacy operating for many years. It was my job and my challenge to be the steward of that and to try to build on that. And that is what I have been trying to do. But I inherited a news fortune here.
This is so Dick Hafner, who said also in his goodbye letter that everything he's been able to do or accomplish is because of other people. And then it finally comes down to his lovely wife, Judy, who's let him do all the things he's done, including being the news director who doesn't say, I'm a big shot, I'm going to be off. He's the news director that would say, hey, I'm going to work Thanksgiving Day. I'm going to work Christmas Day so that his news people could be with their families. And that's another part of the legacy of Dick Hafner. And I'm not surprised because he always deflects to everyone else. Dick, you're not going to deflect this. You have been amazing, magnificent, and extra special. And even you can't take that away from yourself. So I just wanted to be here this morning, thrilled that Kevin Dietz is working, and I'm going back to bed because that's what I do on vacation, sleep. It's the only time I sleep. But Dick, thank you for everything. We can never thank you enough. And you will be missed, certainly not forgotten. We love you.
I love
From
you.
one legend to another, Paul W. Smith to Dick Hafner. Let's take a quick break, and we'll be back with much more of the Paul W. Smith Show. Let's check traffic and weather with Dana Clark.
This report is sponsored by Compassion International.
We're all feeling the weight of COVID-19, but for kids in poverty this Christmas, things are desperate. Bring joy to a child when you make your special year-end gift to Compassion International. Just text GIFT to 83393. That's GIFT to 83393.
Traffic first sponsored by the Construction Association of Michigan. CAM has been helping commercial and industrial contractors and suppliers grow since 1885. Now is the time to join. Join the most powerful network of construction professionals in the state, the Construction Association of Michigan. Join today. Get listed in the 2021 Construction Buyer's Guide. Learn more at buildwithcam.com. That's buildwithcam.com. Great start to your Friday commute. No accidents, no delays. Construction this weekend, 94 both directions between Gratiot and 75. 9 p.m. tonight, all lanes will shut down in both directions until 5 a.m. on Monday. Now, WJR weather first from the Weather Channel, sponsored by the Cremation Society of Michigan. For over 32 years, the Cremation Society of Michigan has been providing dignified cremation services without the cost of traditional funerals. For cremation information, contact the Cremation Society of Michigan at 1-800-241-3131 or visit cremationmichigan.com.
There just will not be enough cold air around to get snow this time around. As we get into December, we should see some colder systems come on in. Right now, it looks like mainly rain. and most of it coming tonight and tomorrow. We cloud over today, 45. Showers early tonight, steady rain late, 39. Cloudy and rainy tomorrow with highs in the low 50s. Drying out by Sunday, colder highs mid-30s. From a Weather Channel meteorologist Ray staging on News Talk 760 WJR.
Hi, folks. Craig Hubble, General Manager at Crestview Cadillac in Rochester. This is the moment I want you to.
Okay, Kevin, how you following that up?
Hey, that was nice.
It's the easiest roundtable we've ever done.
Dana, I don't think Dana got one word in. Not even on the break.
No. Yeah, you got. Yeah. So your guest is there for your next segment, and yeah.
If you want to share your story on the radio instead of on the Facebook, you're welcome to jump in at 6:30 with us if you want.
Yeah. Okay. I can do that. That's fine. Yeah. That was awesome. Oh, good stuff. That was really good. All right, we'll be coming back in a minute here. And
did our guest call in? Or?
Yeah, your guest is there.
Okay,
so we're ready to go.
All right, great.
Thing and Untuck It is on sale right now. Untuck It shirts are designed to be worn untucked, so they help guys to look sharp and feel comfortable. Who wouldn't love to unwrap one of our iconic wrinkle-free button-downs, super soft flannels, and our famous polos? So don't wait. Our holiday sale is the best time to find the perfect shirt at untuckit.com or at 80+ Untuck It stores. Untuck It, shirts designed to be worn untucked.
The market is constantly changing. The Marketplace Minute keeps you up to date 1 minute at a time. When you're getting the kids off to school.
Alexa, play Marketplace Minute. Operators filed for bankruptcy.
Just before the Zoom meeting.
Hey Siri, play Marketplace Minute.
Says it's been spending more on hiring workers.
When your day is done.
Hey Google, play the Marketplace Minute. Upward swings and indices in Europe and Asia.
The Marketplace Minute, a podcast and smart speaker briefing updated 3 times daily. Ask your smart speaker to play the Marketplace Minute. Listen on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your shows.
Now back to more Paul W. Smith on WJR. Once again, substituting, here's Kevin Dietz.
What a fun morning that's been so far, celebrating Dick Hafner. Paul W. Smith, kind enough to join us on his day off to share his memories of working with Dick. And on the phone now is a friend of ours, Adolph Mongo, who's a political consultant, but also a former reporter from back in the day. Adolph, welcome to the show.
Well, thanks for having me this early morning.
Yeah, well, we've been celebrating Dick Hafner a little bit. I know that you used to be a reporter in your previous life, and you know what it's like.
Right.
Dick has put in 51 years here in Detroit, and he's seen a lot over the years.
Listen, you couldn't help but know his distinctive voice. He's been around as long as I've been around, and he's been covering news forever in Detroit. And just think that he's one of the last of the old guard. This was a young person news town. And news is covered different these days. People like Dick went out in the community, talked to folks, knew folks. People call. I don't think a lot of these young reporters really get out into the community and get to know some of the people that make Detroit what it is.
Yeah, and Dick, he called it straight. There's no slant with Dick Hafner. He would get the news story, he would get it right, and he would deliver it fairly. And that's not something we see much of anymore, locally or nationally.
Yeah, no giggling, no, news just it's different. When I was out there as a young reporter, it was a serious business. It still is a serious business, and Dick was a true professional. Gonna miss his voice.
Absolutely. So, when anything happens in the political world here in Metro Detroit, we like to call and check in with you. A couple of things happened this week. First, the sad death of Jewel Ware, a Wayne County Commissioner. Not everybody really follows the commission that close. That's a very important job, and this is a big loss for the community.
There's no question. The commission gets a pass sometimes when people talk about elected officials, they usually talk about state representatives, city council, the mayor, the governor's office, the Senate, Congress, and they somehow missed the county commissioner. Jewel Ware has been around a long time, worked with since the early 90s, worked with a lot of senior groups. Senior citizens love her. I used to call her the Columbo of Detroit. Remember the old show Columbo?
Oh, yeah,
with
absolutely.
Peter Falk? Yeah, he pretended he didn't know a lot, but he knew everything. That was Jewel Ware. Jewel Ware would ask you 25 different questions, and you say, "Did she read it?" Oh, Jewel Ware, and she done read it. She knows it inside out. But that was Jewel. We butted heads sometimes, but that's the way politics go.
And the commission, they're responsible for approving hundreds of millions of dollars in budgets, if not $1 billion. I mean, you want to talk about responsible government. You want to pay attention to the commission.
There's no question about it. The county exec, some of the streets and roads, they're in charge of. And when people complain about potholes, grass, they tend to call the city, and a lot of times it's the commission who you need to call. It's the county that's in charge.
Absolutely. And the other big story in politics is Mayor Mike Duggan has announced that he's running for re-election. That election will take place in November. Not surprising, I imagine.
No, not surprising. I am surprised that, people saying, he's going to go to D.C. Well, Biden has 4 years. Things change. I think that the mayor has some unfinished business, demolition program, trying to bring jobs back to the city. At this point, I don't see anybody beating him. He has a well-run organization. He raised a lot of money, and if somebody was going to run, they would be out there in the community as a loyal opposition. And at this point, I don't see anyone.
And with COVID, it's going to be a massive job of getting Detroit back to where it was in its recovery process.
Listen, it's a whole different ballgame the way people campaign. There's no knocking on doors. There's no going to these meetings with a lot of folks unless you're Donald Trump, president, who's about to leave office. No, people don't want to be around a lot of people. People are waiting for this vaccine. And frankly, I don't think too many people are in the mood for a tight campaign like the one we just seen.
And do you think he'll run unopposed, or do you think someone will throw their hat in the ring?
Somebody's gonna run. Can't help it. Whether they're minor candidates or somebody with a name recognition. And I've been hearing a couple names, but so far nobody has announced that they're going to take on this big job of trying to unseat a two-time incumbent. That's tough. It's tough to beat somebody that's entrenched.
And Mayor Mike Duggan was a big supporter, an early supporter of Joe Biden before most people were. Do you think that benefits the city of Detroit going forward? Does he get the president's ear if Joe Biden ends up becoming the next president?
Well, you know what? He can make a phone call and say, Mr. President, yes. Because a lot of people had written Joe Biden off after Iowa and New Hampshire. The president-elect campaign was resurrected in South Carolina by the Congressional Black Caucus. So, yeah, he was there. He was there at the lowest point of Biden's run for office, and there's no question that there's no question that he has the presidency here.
All right, Adolph Mongo, keeping an eye on things in Detroit, Metro Detroit for us this morning on the Paul W. Smith Show. Thanks for calling in.
Hey, thanks for having me.
All right. We'll take a quick break, check traffic and weather with Dana Clark.
This report is sponsored by Everstream, the business-only fiber network. At Everstream, the business-only fiber network, they believe business deserves better. Everstream's full-service approach to business connectivity delivers the speed and reliability that businesses demand. Everstream, faster fiber, better business.
Looking at construction along 94 both directions, eastbound and westbound between Gratiot and 75. That's going to kick off 9 p.m. tonight. All lanes will close until 5 a.m. on Monday. Now, WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel, sponsored by Capital Grille Holiday Gift Cards. This year, make everyone happy with the Capital Grille gift card, the gift card with no restrictions. Buy $500 or more in Capital Grille gift cards, get 10% in bonus gift cards at Capital Grille. Will also include a mahogany case with 4 perfectly balanced steak knives. Call 248-649-5300 now. Cloudy starts, currently 33 degrees, expecting some peaks of sunshine, possibly this afternoon, a high of 48. Tonight, rain showers early, then steady rain overnight, your low 39. For the weekend, a warm-up. On Saturday, cloudy with periods of rain, thunder possible, a high of 53. Cloudy skies on Sunday, your high hitting 37. I'm Dana Clark, WJR News with Dick Hafner in 2 minutes.
From all of us at the Michigan Lottery, have a happy and safe holiday.
As serious as cancer, you can feel alone. That's
There's
why
the Kingpin.
Cancer Institute. We're all for being at your side.
Yeah, these notes are great. We should print these off for Dick, the Facebook notes.
Yeah, we'll definitely we'll put them up while you're talking to him too.
Yeah.
All these nice things that everybody's got to say about him.
Because we're all for innovation through
He's been doing it for a long time. I mean,
brings the best doctors and
man,
technology together. We know the importance of personalized care.
it's really unbelievable if you think about it.
What you're going through. That's why the Henry Ford Cancer Institute is all for delivering both, virtually or in person, in locations throughout Southeast and South Central Michigan.
I mean, when I was an intern in college, Gene Fogel was my advisor. But yet, when I worked in the newsroom, I did a year in the newsroom, or a semester in the news, and a semester in sports. Dick was in charge.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And that was back when they did like a morning news center. I mean, they had a huge news staff, and their whole morning was was news. So, in fact, we were even on a different floor in the Fisher Building at that point. We weren't even on the current floor that we're at currently right now. And I think we were like on 22nd, 23rd floor or something like that.
So how many years ago was that for you?
So that was like in the early 90s. So
25 years or something.
Yeah. I mean, think about, and my shift, I remember for a while was 4 a.m. to 8 a.m. I remember waking up, going to 7-Eleven, getting the largest Mountain Dew that I could find, and driving down to the Fisher Building, and then going to class after working from 4 a.m. to 8 a.m. I have no idea how I did it. I would not be able to do it today. There's no way. There's no way that's gonna happen. But yeah, I mean, it's just and back then, when you were an intern, that was the way that you got in, via the internships. I don't know if there's a lot of internships anymore.
Yeah.
And then they would let us go and do a lot of stuff. It was really cool. We got to go and do a lot of things. I got to cover a lot of stuff that was really cool. Like the story that was big back in those days was Jack Kevorkian. So got to do a lot of chasing around of Dr. Kevorkian and Jeffrey Feiger, back and forth from police headquarters to Feiger's office in Southfield. and back and forth and back
One of
and
my
forth.
first weekends, I was shadowing with Bob Bennett. He worked weekends then, and when I came in, and one of our first weekends, we were over on Belle Isle with Dr. Kevorkian's van had showed up with one of his patients in the back, and
Really,
that was crazy times in Detroit.
Yeah, I mean, I remember we would go to police headquarters, and then Kevorkian and Feiger would like go out the back door, and then we'd be chasing him down the street with like TV camera guys, hopping in cars, and then going to Southfield for like where he would have a press conference at that giant law firm that he has over there in Southfield.
Right.
And yeah, it was crazy. Anytime that there was anything going on, like a barricaded gunman or sometimes, we would see like, hey, there's some smoke coming from a building over there. Drive over there and see what's going on, and just go get tape.
Right.
Tape. Back in the days of where we had to cut reel to reel tape and stuff like that. It was nuts, but it was pretty cool. It was great training, and the freedom that they let you have was pretty cool to go and do that kind of stuff, especially when you were just learning. So, but now it's totally different. Now you can get the news instantly on Twitter. Now you got to have your phone with you at all times. You got to get video of everything. So it's totally changed
for sure.
I mean, for you too, you've been in the business for a long time, and you probably how it's changed and how news is covered, and it's totally different.
When I was in college and first started really paying attention to the news, there was only like 3 TV newscasts a day. There was like a noon, a 5, and an 11. That was it. Half-hour shows. Now there's 7.5, 8.5 hours of local news, all day, every day. It's so crazy.
Patrick's totally right. Just set up live shows or hang out at appearances. That's true. That's true. It's
at the Free Press, interns write a lot of the daily breaking news.
Do they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I worked a lot of weekend mornings with the weekend anchors here at WJR, and you never know what you would drive in and okay, go find something, or you'd have to remember the days of having to monitor the police scanners.
Oh yeah.
And having to listen for something going on.
They still do that.
We had all these like in the newsroom over here at Jared, they had like 13 scanners going at one time trying to find out what was going on, and yeah, it was then it was speaking of reel to reels, it was the carts, like they look like 8-track cassettes, right. And you'd have to use the bulk eraser and make sure they were clean before you put them back in the rack, and it's all different.
The station still has interns, don't they?
I think that like Mitch Album Show has an intern, but I don't know. I don't think we have any other interns here. FM might have some interns, but I think Mitch's show is the only one that has interns now. So we're gonna come back, and I told Dick that you're gonna want to speak with him. So
all right, cool.
All right.
And monitor the system 24/7, 365. So for all you do, natural gas is there for you. Learn more at dteenergy.com. DTE. For all the dinners cooked.
Something smells good.
For all the clothes dried. For all the hot showers. There's safe, reliable natural gas from DTE. We keep gas safe by constantly inspecting, upgrading, and monitoring our lines 24/7, 365. So for all you do, natural gas is there for you. Find out more at dteenergy.com. DTE.
Now back to more Paul W. Smith on WJR. Once again substituting, here's Kevin Dietz.
Good morning on this Friday, December 11th, 2020. We appreciate you stopping by. WJR 760, where Detroit comes to talk. We have a programming note today. Please make some time to listen to WJR today between 10:30 and 11 a.m. as we salute the retiring Dick Hafner during the Frank Beckman Show. Dick's final newscast, by the way, and hopefully some parting wisdom will be at 11:30 a.m. today. I know I'll be listening, and we hope you are as well. We're also live on Facebook, where Dick is getting a lot of love from all kinds of longtime listeners, including Randy, who writes, Dick Hafner is as modest as the great Ernie Harwell, always putting others first. I've been listening to WJR since I was a kid, about 45 years ago. Good luck with your future, Dick. Go WJR 100%. 100%. And joining us now is Dick Hafner. Dick, how are you?
I am 100%. I couldn't be better. If there was 200% possible, I would be that, but I'm just 100%.
It is. It's kind of a fun day, isn't it? I know you're still working and you're doing news, and you're gonna do it right to the end. But it's kind of fun time for you as well, I imagine today.
Yes, it is, and I've been bowled over. I did not expect any response or reaction like this, and so I'm probably not handling it very well. But I only have one more day of this, and then I'll go back to some of that anonymity that I was used to and enjoyed as a radio newsman. Unlike you TV guys, we walk into a store and no one recognizes us. They may recognize our voice if we speak to them very, very much, but we don't get recognized, and there's a beauty to that. Anonymity as the TV people who get recognized all the time. You walk into a store or restaurant and people start looking at you. Who? Well,
I know that booming voice of yours gets. I know that booming voice of yours gets recognized all the time. You can't pull that off on me. I'm not that young. So I wanted to ask you a little bit about some of the stories that you covered. I don't know. 51 years. I was trying to think back. I mean, like Jimmy Hoffa. I was there for the digs and whatnot. How far do you go back? Do you remember your first big stories?
I really don't remember my first big stories, but in the fall of '69, when I hit the airwaves, which was on WDET, still on the air, a friend of mine and I ended up creating their news department, which I'm very happy is still around and doing very well. It was a tumultuous time in Detroit in the late '60s. It was a couple of years after the riots, the conflagration, the revolution, whatever you want to call it. And things were very tense. There were racial clashes, small ones, but they got a lot of attention nonetheless. There was a political fight going on in City Hall, and it was racial in nature as more African Americans took control, and the white folks in Detroit were trying to hold on to control. There was conflict there. And so that's the atmosphere that I remember coming in as a newsman in Detroit. We also had the United Auto Workers and the Detroit Big Three automakers, which were in their heyday, and they created a lot of news, which I was able to cover as a fledgling 19-year-old newsman for NPR, which just was created as I got to that Wayne State FM station. And so every time we filed a story for NPR, we got paid $35 in 1969 money. Kevin,
a long way.
I had cash filling my pockets. I didn't know what I would do with all that money.
And Lee Iacocca was a rock star back then. He was like a
He
Beatle.
sure was.
Big time.
He was still at Ford Motor Company. He had not been given his closet yet by Henry Ford.
So I started in Detroit about 27 years ago, and the first big stories for me were Dr. Kevorkian and his. I remember running over with Bob Bennett on a Saturday morning to Belle Isle, where his van was parked and someone was inside and no longer living, and my eyes were just wide open as I watched all of the news, radio, TV, newspapers, come together, work against each other and together. That's one of the nice things about Detroit. You always feel like even if you're competing, you're all on the same team in the news business here.
You're right. And I've heard from so many of my friendly competitors here in the last few days, and I have been reminded of that special quality that you don't have in all of the markets that we work in.
Yeah, and I remember going over when Nancy Kerrigan got whacked on the knee, and all of a sudden the whole national world is there, and you probably saw that a lot over your years, where a story that started with the kind of a regular day turned into the entire world watching Detroit and Metro Detroit.
Well, I sure remember that day clearly. If you went over to Kobo when you got the news about what happened, you remember probably the intense snowstorm that we were getting at that time. We got a foot of snow that day, and that kept everyone from quickly getting down to Kobo. And so when we learned about the Nancy Kerrigan whack on the knee, which was at about 3 p.m., we confirmed that. I confirmed that with the police chief at that time, Benny Napoleon, who I'm so happy to remember answered his cell phone, his big clunky brick-like cell phone
Nextel.
that time. And I told him what we had been told by someone who claimed to know what was going on. But I had to confirm this to make sure it was right. And he picked up and said, "Yes, Dick, it all happened. I got to go. Bye." And so we had this exclusive story about the whack heard around the world, and I heard from news outlets all around the world when it hit the wires, and my voice was in virtually every country in the world, every English-speaking country in the world, and some foreign ones because of that story.
Absolutely love it. I should have known you broke that story. I was trudging through the snow trying to get over to Kobo. You were already on the air breaking news. Nicely
You
done.
remember how bad that snowstorm was, and Kevin, it worked to my advantage.
That's right. That's awesome. Congratulations again. We're going to continue celebrating you throughout the day. And of course, your last newscast is at 11:30 this morning, and a nice little celebration from 10:30 to 11 on the Frank Beckman Show. Much more of the Paul W. Smith Show is coming up. Right now, we're going to check traffic with Dana Clark.
This report is sponsored by Indeed.com. If you're hiring, you need Indeed. Indeed delivers quality candidates so you can focus on interviewing people with the right skills. Receive a $75 sponsored job credit when you upgrade your job post at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Looking good out there, Kevin. Really, no problems. Just upcoming construction 94, both directions between Gratiot and 75, 9 p.m. tonight. All lanes will shut down in both directions until 5 a.m. on Monday. Now, WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel, sponsored by Shelving.com. Finish the year strong and save 11% on industrial storage from Shelving.com. Double your floor space instantly with modular mezzanines, or maximize vertical height with in-stock Unirack pallet racking up to 20 feet high. Don't miss 11% off. The storage your business needs with code WRAPUP11. That's Shelving.com. We rack your world.
Next front on the march. Storm system associated with that front pushing through, and looks like it's going to be rain for the weekend. Some clouds around as we go through this morning, mostly cloudy into the afternoon, 45. The rain comes in late tonight, 39. A chilly rain tomorrow, highs in the low 50s. We should get the rain out by Sunday. From the Weather Channel, meteorologist Ray Stagicon, News Talk 760 WJR.
As the auto industry's reliance on internal combustion.
Hey.
All right, Kev. Both Courtney and O'Hara are standing by.
Okay, awesome.
Talk about Lions and Packers.
Is Aaron Rodgers playing? He's not. He doesn't have COVID, does he?
Not that I have heard. So, yeah.
Did you get a quarterback in Denver yet?
What's that?
Did you get a quarterback in Denver yet?
Yeah, they played Kansas City pretty close. Came down to the last series. It wasn't. They lost, unfortunately, but people are giving him a lot of credit. But I think the future looks kind of bright. So we'll see what happens.
Right.
He has never played a full season yet because he was injured, and then we had he got injured again, and then there was COVID. So we'll see. They're a pretty young team. I think that the future is looking pretty good. Plus, they're also missing their top defensive player this year and their top offensive player this year. So not due to COVID, by the way, but injuries, ACLs.
Right.
So. Well, one ACL and one weird injury that happened to Von Miller, which I still don't know how it happened, but So, yes, that's correct, Clay. University of Michigan is battling some COVID cases, yes.
Yeah, Bill's talking about Dick in the Hall of Fame. There's no doubt Dick will be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
That's just checking the paperwork, getting
I'm
the
sure
paperwork
that,
in.
yeah. And
It
Michigan
is a little
Association-
process. You have to get some nominations and things, but it will
Yeah,
happen. It will happen quickly.
There is a process that goes into it. I know I know one person that got in that I used to work for, and it was kind of a cool event.
Yeah.
And I think Paul W.'s in there, obviously. So I'm sure that he'll get in.
Absolutely.
All right, we're coming back.
Rod Hansen, the old newsman, I helped in his nomination process.
I remember Rod. Rod was a cool guy.
Oh yeah, he was great. Federal court. He just owned federal court.
Yeah. All right, hang tight.
And financial aid. No one has more ways to make a world-class education more affordable and more accessible. Finish your degree, Warrior Strong. Visit wayne.edu/admissions. Now back to more Paul W. Smith on WJR. Once again substituting, here's Kevin Dietz.
Hey, your Detroit Lions have an undefeated head football coach. Darrell Bevel will be back on the sidelines Sunday as the Lions host Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. Here to preview the big game is Mike O'Hara of DetroitLions.com and our own Steve Courtney. Good morning, guys.
Good morning, Kev. Hello again, everyone. It'll be game 2 for interim head coach Darrell Bevel, who's changed things up a little bit for the Honolulu Blue and Silver Lions, of course, coming off the emotional road win over the Chicago Bears. But the challenge ahead is great. The Pack, they are a 9-3 ball club and firing on all cylinders. Let's start there, shall we? Mo Better Blues joins us. Mo, how are you?
I'm doing good. Hey, Steve, before we start, salute to Dick Hafner, okay? I mean, even the bad news doesn't sound bad with those soothing tones I'm used to listening to.
No doubt about it. We are paying tribute to the one Richard Hafner throughout this morning, and I had the distinct pleasure of working with Dick for a long time, and nobody does it better.
Well deserved.
All right, now let's talk about this upcoming tilt. You know, it's interesting, Mike, the mindset, and maybe it's just me reading into it, but, you know, Darrell Bevel comes in, very likable guy. We all know the story behind it, but he has shortened the meeting times, the practice times as well. I guess he means what he says. He just wants this team to go out, don't pay attention to the scoreboard, take a look at it after the ball game. But, you know, it is a refreshing approach, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. And, he did the right thing. And I think most coaches who take over in midseason would do that. You've got to change something because I think we said this last week. You can't just take over and read from the same script and expect the players to think, well, what's different with him? And it's sort of the other guy syndrome too. And I think the players were ready for a change, mostly because of the losing. I mean, nothing really personal against Coach Patricia, but it obviously things weren't working. You've heard that said over and over. And Bevel, who'd been around, the players knew him. They knew his personality, and he played to that, sincerely. He really did that. That's him. Or the defensive players who knew him didn't see him as much as the offensive guys warmed to him immediately, and it paid off. Now, the other thing is that was the Chicago Bears. This is a little different team they're going to be facing Sunday. Different team, tougher team, better team.
Well, let's start with Aaron Rodgers, and it's interesting. It's almost like the 7 degrees of Darrell Bevel. I mean, everybody at one time or another looks as though has shared time in their football career with this guy. He, of course, long ago with the Green Bay Packers, as a matter of fact, had Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, Doug Peterson in the quarterback room. And he said, there was something about Aaron Rodgers back in the day that gave you the indication that he was going to have a hell of a career, which he has. More specifically, Mike, this season, throwing at 68.9%. He's thrown for 36 touchdowns and just 4 interceptions. Just another phenomenal year.
When you break that statistic down, 36 touchdowns in 12 games and 4 interceptions, that's 3 touchdowns per game and 1 interception every 3 games. I mean, you look at that and you go, how do we compete with that? Well, you do, and they're 9-3, and they've won 9 games for a reason, and they lost 3 tough ones for a reason too. So, they're not invincible, but you've got to play your best football to beat them, and the Detroit Lions certainly have to do that. I don't think they've played their best ball this year yet, and they certainly will have to do that Sunday afternoon on primetime TV.
Well, I do know this. The Lions defensively will have to play at the very least like they did in the second half against the Bears. The first half a week ago in Chicago was a complete nightmare. The second half, much better, and they're going to need that effort. You talk about Mike stopping the run. Aaron Jones, pretty crafty back, 754 yards. That's a 5.2 per carry average, 7 touchdowns already. Let's start there.
Well, absolutely, and the Lions saw him in the first meeting in week 2. He broke a 75-yard run on the first play of the second half. And in that game, look, the Lions had a 14-3 lead, and it looked like this was going to be a competitive game at Lambeau Field. Wrong. The Packers ran off an extra 31 points in a row, and Aaron Rodgers didn't have a big game. He had 2 touchdown passes, but everybody else did. He also played without Davante Adams. I shouldn't say without. He only had 3 catches and was out part of the game because of a hamstring injury that kept him out the next 2 weeks. But look, they've got all their guys ready for this game Sunday, and it starts with Aaron Rodgers, but like you mentioned, Aaron Jones and Davante Adams, and they got this tight end that really nobody's ever really knows that much about, Robert Tonyan. He's got 8 touchdowns on only 41 catches. He's tied for the most touchdowns with Travis Kelce, who's got his 8 touchdowns on, I think it's 84 catches. So it's really a prolific offense with a good offensive line, and really it's just grooved right now. Sometimes you get on those runs as a football team and as a quarterback, and the Packers and Aaron Rodgers are on one of those right now.
Davante Adams, pretty good story. In the NFL, Mike, if you're a wide receiver, it's all about separation. Everybody knows that he's Aaron Rodgers' favorite weapon to go to, but he still has already surpassed 1,000 yards receiving, 13 touchdowns, just a tremendous athlete.
Oh, absolutely. I think in the opener he had something like 14 or 15 catches and was threatening the franchise record set by Don Hudson, the great player back in the 30s and 40s of the Packers. And Aaron Rodgers says, no, I'm going to stop throwing to him. We don't want him to set the record in a blowout. We'll do it sometime when it's a more important game and a more competitive game. Just kind of shows you the touch and the feel that those players have for that game and what they can do when they really want to turn it on and turn it off at the appropriate time too.
During the course of his Zoom calls this week, Darrell Bevell certainly understands the importance of covering Zadarius Smith. I mean, here is a dude that is a legitimate pass rusher already, 10.5 sacks this year. The Green Bay Packers as a team, Mike, with 31 sacks. So the Lions' offensive line is going to be challenged, no doubt about it.
I think it's been a pretty good offensive line too, especially. I think that, they've finally got all their parts together except for now at right tackle, where Terrell Crosby went out last week and replaced by Matt Jones, who came to the Lions a year ago as a defensive tackle from Iowa. They took one look at him and said, "Kid, you're putting on some weight, removing you to the offensive line." And he's played in long relief a couple of games this year and really done well. I mean, this kid has a legitimate future in the National Football League as a starting quality offensive tackle. And look, I think he played, 49 of the 68 snaps last week and held his own. He really did against Khalil Mack. Khalil Mack didn't have a tackle, didn't have a hit, had nothing, didn't appear on the stat sheet. And we're talking about one of the best outside linebackers in the National Football League. And to do that against him, he should fare well against whatever the Packers give him on Sunday. The other side of it is, though, they've had a week to look at him and scout him. So he might have been an unknown quantity a week ago. He's not now.
Well, still a great story. Meanwhile, the health of the Lions as we approach this Packers tilt, Mike, doesn't look like Kenny Golladay will be able to go again. He's got that bad hip. No practice so far throughout the week. Good news if you're looking for some running back, DeAndre Swift, who was sidelined by the concussion. He got out of that protocol only to be felled by an illness. He is back to limited practice. Be nice to have him back.
Yeah, I would expect him to play. I wouldn't expect him to play as a full load like he always does, which is around 40 or so snaps, 2/3 of the snaps, and Adrian Peterson gets the rest, and maybe maybe Kerryon Johnson. He's back to practice yesterday. I thought the injury was more serious than it turned out to be. He left last week's game with a problem with his knee, which has been bothering for the last year and a half or so. But if they get those guys back, it'll help them. You play better with your better players, with your starters. That's why they're starters.
Well, when the clock says zeros, Mike.
Yes.
What are you thinking here? Obviously, Lions back in the supposed to be friendly confines of Ford Field. It has not been kind to them throughout this year. What are you thinking?
Well, I think the Lions can compete. I really do. Look, Matthew Stafford, I think they did the right thing with him last week. Let him throw the ball. That 96-yard touchdown drive, he was 6 for 7 for 96 yards and a touchdown. That was late in the game with really the game on the line. If they don't get that, they don't win. But this is a different team, the Packers. I don't think they're the greatest defensive team, but they really are right next to the Kansas City Chiefs, the next best offense. And it's just sometimes you're just up against too much to contend with. I'll take the Packers 30-26. Maybe a good tight game, but just got to go with the Pack.
All right, 4:25 is the kick, which means we are with you at 1:30 on Lions Radio. Michael, thank you. We'll look forward to talking about it come Monday, my friend.
All right, great. Thanks for having me.
All right, Mike O'Hara, DetroitLions.com. Kev?
All right, Steve, we appreciate it. Steve Courtney and Mike O'Hara. Let's now take a quick break, check traffic and weather with Dana Clark.
This report is sponsored by Compassion International.
We're all feeling the weight of COVID-19, but for kids in poverty this Christmas, things are desperate. Bring joy to a child when you make your special year-end gift to Compassion International. Just text GIFT to 83393. That's GIFT to 83393.
Traffic First, also sponsored by Primetime Testing Laboratory. In need of testing, that automotive project, Primetime Testing Labs are the industry's best in complete automotive testing services. They guarantee on-time delivery, accurate result reporting, and RA2LA accredited. For your automotive project, get a free quote at primetimetestinglab.com. That's primetimetestinglab.com. Disabled vehicle reported in Detroit along the Lodge southbound at Webb. Now, WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel, sponsored by the Cremation Society of Michigan. For over 32 years, the Cremation Society of Michigan has been providing dignified cremation services without the cost of traditional funerals. For cremation information, contact the Cremation Society of Michigan at 1-800-241-3131 or visit cremationmichigan.com. Cloudy start, hopefully peaks of sunshine later and rain rolling in tonight, getting up to 48 today. Tonight, rain showers, then steady rain overnight, your low 39. For Saturday, cloudy, periods of rain, a high of 53. Back to normal on Sunday, clouds and a high of 37. Cloudy, 33 degrees. I'm Dana Clark, WJR News with Dick Hafner in 1 minute.
At Fisher Investments, we do things differently.
We don't understand why. Because our way works great for us, but it may not work.
You think the Lions can beat the Packers?
No.
No?
No.
It'd be nice for the coach, I think.
It would, but no.
Do you think the coach has any chance of, if he went undefeated, of keeping the job?
Good question. I'm not sure about that because if they do things the right way, they should hire the general manager before they hire the coach. So the general manager has the choice. That was part of the problem when Bob Quinn came in, was that Caldwell was already there. He kind of, dealt with Caldwell for a couple of years, who, by the way, made playoffs a couple times, and then got rid of him and brought in Patricia. So we'll see how the Lions do this. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know if it's going to be the defensive coordinator, Salas, from the 49ers. If they bring him in and then bring in the GM later. It did work in San Francisco, where they brought in Kyle Shanahan and then they hired John Lynch later. So in rare occasions, it does work, but it should be that they hire the general manager first and then bring in the coach. Not to say that if Bevel went undefeated for the rest of the year, he wouldn't have a chance, but I don't know.
And he's not someone who's been bantied about for other teams, right?
No. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what route they go. There's a lot of different ways to go about this. But you got to get somebody in there fairly quickly because the NFL offseason goes quick. And then you've got the combine and then leading into the draft. assuming that COVID calms down a little bit. So
Right.
we don't know what this offseason is going to look like.
Are there many jobs open already, or are they just anticipating people will start getting fired at the end of the year?
Well, yeah, they do call it Black Monday, which is the Monday after the last Sunday of the season. So you already got the Texans who fired Bill O'Brien, so they're looking for a coach. The Lions fired Patricia, so they're looking for a coach. You might assume that Adam Gase is going to be gone for the Jets. There's a chance that Mike McCarthy is going to be gone for the Dallas Cowboys only after 1 year. So that's 4 right there. Who else is on the hot seat? I'm sure that there's some other coaches that are on the hot seat also. So there's usually, I think last year there was 7 or 8 coaches that got fired on Black Monday. So we'll see what happens. But
so
they're
then
gonna,
people start looking at offensive and defensive coordinators of successful teams.
right? Like the Eric Bieniemys from Kansas City, and some of the other high. And then they look to college also. The Iowa State coach, I think his name's Matt Campbell. His name's been getting thrown around a lot. So the question as a Lions fan is do you want a coach to come in who has experience, or do you want one of these young hot talents to come in like the Sean McVays of the world, like the Brian LaFleurs for the Packers of the world, the Matt Nagy's? So the people who have this their first time coaching, I guess it's whatever philosophy you want to go with. The Lions have had what? They've had Patricia, they've had Schwartz. He was first time. Caldwell was not a first time. He had some experience and he did fairly well. So I guess it's going to be how they want to set this up to see if they can change the culture here in Detroit.
I read some NFL insider was saying there was really not much interest in Harbaugh in the NFL as a head coach this time around.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with Jim Harbaugh either. There's talks of a possible extension, but a Michigan friendly extension. There's talks that he wants to go back into the NFL. Unfortunately, Michigan Ohio State got canceled for the first time in something like 100 years that they've been playing the game. So and he had success in the NFL up until the end, but he's been to a Super Bowl. So
yeah, someone had reported that he was offered a 3-year extension and he was mulling it over. While considering the NFL, but then someone else had said that there really was nobody showing any interest in him in the NFL yet.
Yeah. Mitch Albom asked him yesterday during his radiothon about staying, and he kind of just gave
non-answer.
Yeah, he just kind of gave I love Michigan. I'm all about Michigan. So so we'll see what happens. They got to get the team healthy first, get through what they're going through, and then we'll see what happens. It's been kind of rough for Jim Harbaugh, unfortunately, in Michigan. I don't think that he's been able to deliver what people thought that he was going to be able to do. So
right.
And Patrick, I do not know if a Moneyball system could work in the NFL. I don't. It's not Major League Baseball, so I'm not sure. But it'll be interesting to see what happens. I think that you need to get a general manager in there first, though, and then he can bring in his people. I think it'll make for a more cohesive unit.
Well, it would be nice to get some winning teams back in town, whether college or pro. It's been a rough slide here with the Tigers, Red Wings, Pistons, Lions, Michigan State. Michigan State had a few Big Ten championships anyway in the last 10 years, but it's been pretty slim pickings.
Yeah, Michigan State basketball is going to be good this year. So and Michigan basketball is not bad either. So
right, Michigan State's top 5 right now.
They got a good team. Your guest is there, and we're coming back.
No cookie cutter portfolios here. Fisher Investments tailors portfolios to meet each client's goals and needs.
But you do sell investments that earn you high commissions, right? And make commissions when you make trades for your clients?
No, Fisher Investments doesn't sell any commission investment products, and we never earn commissions on trades.
So what's in it for you?
Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when our clients do better. When it comes to helping clients achieve a comfortable retirement, we're clearly different. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments, clearly different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
From the great voice of the Great Lakes, this is Paul W. Smith on WJR, with Kevin Dietz filling in for Paul.
Good morning on this Friday, December 11th, 2020. We're looking at another nice day today here in Metro Detroit with temperatures a little higher than usual. We appreciate you taking a little time to stop by. WJR 760, where Detroit comes to talk. We're also live on Facebook. We have a little programming note today. Please make time to listen to WJR today between 10:30 and 11 a.m. as we have a special salute to the retiring Dick Hafner during the Frank Beckman Show. And now we want to tell you about a little news. A top supplier warning of possible shortages over the holidays. And we're not talking toilet paper. This is far more serious than that. Joining us to tell us what it is we may not have enough of is Tanya Powers, Fox News correspondent and WJR contributor. Tanya, welcome back to the show.
Hey, thanks.
So what is the big shortage that may be here for the holidays?
Well, if you take your holiday cookies seriously,
I do.
This could be an issue for you. And most importantly, I'm talking about the Pepperidge Farm ones. During an earnings call with investors, Campbell's Soup Company's CEO, and by the way, Campbell's owns Pepperidge Farm, they actually said that they're looking at what could be a shortage of things like Milano cookies and Chessmen and those kinds of cookies that they make. There's apparently an increase in demand and a labor shortage, both of these due to the pandemic. They said that, there's demand has gone way, way up for cookies. And I have some data that backs that up in just a second. But I found this interesting when I was looking into this story. Campbell's does not use third-party manufacturers to make Pepperidge Farm cookies because, they've got unique shapes and designs and things like that. So they don't, farm them out someplace else where they could ramp up production somewhere. They have a limited, amount of ways to make these cookies. So with more demand and a labor shortage, that's the reason that, it's making it a little bit dicier to make sure there's enough this season. As for the data that backs up our cookie consumption, Fox Business, cited a report that said that American cookie consumption has gone up by 25% since the start of the pandemic. 1 in 5 Americans eats 3 or more cookies per day. So we like Pepperidge Farm ones too, because like I said, there's a demand and a shortage. That's
interesting, though, because, you think of cookies as a comfort food, and this has been a trying time for all of us. And I suspect that that makes sense, that people are eating more cookies than they may have previously before the pandemic. Yeah, I mean, that does make sense. I find these stories about Americans' eating habits during the pandemic fascinating. As far as which kinds of things we were making since we had to stay at home and in the spring with all the stay-at-home orders and things like that, people started getting outside their comfort zone with different things that they made as far as like bringing groceries home or having them delivered or whatever, and then dining out less, obviously. But for me personally, I got an Instant Pot. and I also learned how to make donuts. So, I feel like this is a very worthwhile thing to learn during the pandemic, and I've actually gotten good at it. So, who knows what untapped potential we all have there. Well, I know that people looking for a lot of Christmas presents are going to want to have cookies for Santa Claus. You don't want to leave Santa hanging without any cookies. Do you think that there will be a big run on what cookies remain and other cookies? Do you think it'll be like the toilet paper where everybody thinks, there's going to be a shortage. I better get some. Do a little hoarding. I don't know. There could be, but I mean, unlike toilet paper, cookies do have a shelf life. So, toilet paper you can keep for 6 months if you have enough of it on hand. Cookies are definitely going to go stale at some point, unless you figured out a way for them not to. But yeah, there's
there is a difference there. I don't know. I mean, it depends on how seriously you take your Milanos, honestly.
Yeah, it's been interesting though. Watching when coins started disappearing, there was suddenly a shortage of coins, and then aluminum cans were a shortage there, and now cookies. So we're gonna have to keep an eye on the shelves and try and get a few, at least a few in the freezer to keep around for Santa Claus. Tanya Powers, very interesting story. Thanks for jumping on the show and sharing it with us today.
Sure. Thank you.
All right. Tanya Powers, Fox News correspondent, WJR contributor. And now it's time for WJR's Business Beat. Here's Jeff Sloan, founder and CEO of Startup Nation, to spotlight the entrepreneurial tech and startup community here on WJR.
Good morning. Well, we know that many of our local brick and mortar stores and restaurants as well push to go online as a primary way of doing business. We know that they still depend on those in-store sales to keep those cash registers ringing. So here are a few tips on how to keep those customers coming in store and spending. Number one, it is critical to keep the rapport and spirit of in-store staff upbeat. Remember, your brand, and therefore your success, is tied entirely to that critical touch point that happens between your staff and your customers. Have regular team meetings, keep clear lines of communication with your staff open, and most importantly, establish a company culture that your staff buys into. Once you achieve that, it's important for your staff to conduct themselves in the customer interface in accordance with the company values and the company culture you've established. Number two, go the extra mile to not only stay within the mandated safety guidelines you have to follow, go beyond. And to achieve that, knowing that the mandated safety protocols inherently decay the in-store experience for your customers, make your in-store experience as palatable to your customers as you possibly can. For example, knowing that there are limits imposed on how many people can be in-store at any given time, allow customers to wait in their cars and to receive a text message or a phone call from you or one of your staff members alerting them that it's now their turn to come into the store and shop versus having them stand outside in potentially inclement weather. And three, lastly, knowing that customers have many shopping options available to them today, and knowing that the online buying option is a highly attractive one for many reasons, don't forget to show your appreciation to those customers who do come into your store to shop and spend with you. Thanking them for shopping with you and showing your appreciation will go a long way toward converting those customers into loyal and regular customers. I'm Jeff Sloan, founder and CEO of StartupNation.com, and that's today's Business Beat, brought to you today by Dell Technologies on the great voice of the Great Lakes, WJR.
This report is sponsored by Compassion International.
We're all feeling the weight of COVID-19, but for kids in poverty this Christmas, things are desperate. Bring joy to a child when you make your special year-end gift to Compassion International. Just text GIFT to 83393. That's GIFT to 83393.
Looking at that disabled vehicle blocking the right shoulder, this is along the Lodge southbound at Webb. Now, WJR weather first from the Weather Channel.
Sorry, snow lovers, going to have to go north up in the northern parts of Michigan and experience any snow from this system coming in for tomorrow. Seeing the clouds thicken up here this morning and into the afternoon. If not cloudy yet, you will be 45. Showers early tonight, steadier rain later, chilly 39. Saturday, periods of rain, highs low 50s. Sunday, mostly cloudy, colder mid-30s. From the Weather Channel, meteorologist Ray Stitching on News Talk 760 WJR.
760 WJR celebrates our extraordinary Michigan.
There he is.
Brian and I are going out to buy cookies after the show.
I know. You don't want to get caught short of cookies at this time of year.
That's right.
That's crucial.
That is correct. Because I ran into this problem on Wednesday night, being that today is the first day of Hanukkah. Happy Hanukkah, by the way.
Happy Hanukkah.
My mom wanted to have a small little gathering for Hanukkah.
Okay.
And she wanted me to pick up some potato pancakes, potato latkes, for Hanukkah.
Right.
Good luck finding them at some of the stores. They're all sold out.
Really?
I had to go to 4 different stores to find these things.
Oh, no.
Yeah. It was like, wow, what's going on? I was gone for like 2 hours trying to find the potato pancakes.
Wow.
Obviously, they don't order these in abundance. So, maybe one time a year they have a run on them.
So are they pre-made, like a Lego waffle or something?
My mom does not do doesn't make them from scratch. She just likes to buy the ones that are frozen and then put them in the oven and throw some sour cream or applesauce on them, and there you go.
There's a restaurant in Keego Harbor that we used to drive to all the time as kids to get potato pancakes. It was the only place we knew that made them, and it was like the Early Bird or something on Orchard Lake Road.
Yes, I know that place.
Yeah, they make amazing potato pancakes.
So because that's across the street from St. Mary's,
right? Mm-hmm.
And there's a middle school there called Abbott, the middle school that's on the corner. So I went to that middle school for 2 years.
Oh, okay.
7th and 8th grade. So and then I would play golf with when I used to work for the former guy that I used to work with, Glenn Hagee, and I used to work weekends. My days off were Mondays and Tuesdays. So if I wanted to play golf, I had to play golf with guys that were retired.
Okay.
So after we play golf, we'd always go to the Early Bird to eat lunch. Because a lot of the guys like to play in Waterford, Pontiac Country Club, and White Lake Oaks over there, and then we would go to eat at the Early Birds. So yeah, I know that place very well.
Yeah, they updated it a little bit, gave it a little more seating room. I was there a couple of years ago for the first time in a long time. It was a little different, but it was still packed. It's always been packed.
Right. And obviously, we always used to go to the St. Mary's Fair back in the day,
sure.
too.
Yeah, we still do that. We take the kids and almost always make it to the St. Mary's Fair. That's Labor Day, right? Or Memorial Day?
Right. Yep. Yeah. St. Mary's Fair, Abbott Middle School. Yeah. I mean, because we lived right on the border by West Bloomfield High School, if you're familiar with that area.
Oh, sure. I lived right there. I lived at Pontiac Trail and Orchard Lake.
Basically. Okay, so I was at Orchard Lake and Green Road.
Oh, yeah.
Right across the street. So we had the choice of going to Orchard Lake Middle School or Abbott Middle School.
Okay.
I went to Abbott. My brother Jeff went to Orchard Lake, and then my other brother Eric went to Abbott. So we just had the choice.
We were on a street called Elmgate, which was right by the entrance to Orchard Lake Country Club. And then we'd go up around towards the gas station up to Green Road.
Right.
We had a friend who lived on Green Lake, which they had the boats without motors. They had the electric pontoons. That was the first time I'd ever seen a pontoon, battery-operated pontoon. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I used to live on Old Dominion, which was the road that was right next to Green Road.
Yep.
If you were heading toward south, if you were heading toward Pontiac Trail.
Yeah, I know that area.
And my first job that I ever had in my life was at the Kroger, which was on Orchard Lake and Lone Pine.
I worked at the Dunkin' Donuts on Orchard Lake Road in Keego Harbor, and I worked at the Chuck E. Cheese on Orchard Lake Road, and some little restaurant I tried to be a short order cook with no experience. It didn't last long, but right next to the Kroger's, there was a little diner in that little strip mall.
And then when we used to play softball back in the day, the Brew House, the little bar in Keego, that was our sponsor.
I liked their restroom door back in the day.
Yes.
Remember that?
Dude. Yeah, those were the days back playing softball. Yeah, spent a lot of time there in the Keego Harbor. The Lodge is a really cool place that's over there in Keego Harbor.
Yeah, we actually do Mother's Day there.
Really?
Yeah, we go to the back room there. We have about 30 people in our immediate family, big family. So we'll go there. We'll reserve the back area and do that on Mother's Day.
We're still waiting for your guest to call. He was going to be, he should be calling very soon.
Okay.
So hang tight, and we should be coming back here in about a minute or two.
All right.
Call 888-646-8787. That's 888-646-8787. Or listen to The Trading Group Show, Saturdays at 6 p.m. on News Talk 760 WJR. You could win car washes for an entire year with an unlimited Club Express exterior membership from Jack's Car Wash. Text keyword car wash to 800-859-0957 to be entered. That's keyword car wash as one word with no spaces to 800-859-0957. Standard message and data rates apply. For official rules and alternative entry, visit WJR.com. Wash your car as often as you want. The Jack's Unlimited Club plan start at $21.99.
Now back to more Paul W. Smith on WJR. Once again substituting, here's Kevin Dietz.
The U.S. Food and Drug Administration could authorize Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine for emergency use as early as today. Once it's authorized, vials of the vaccine will begin shipping to all 50 states. Following these latest developments is Eben Brown, Fox News correspondent and WJR contributor. Eben, welcome to the show.
Good morning.
So this has been one that you kind of watch day by day as developments are happening around the world and here in the United States.
Well, yes. So the FDA's what they call the Vaccine and Related Biological Products Advisory Committee. I know that's a bit of a mouthful, but they're the ones that take a good deep look at all the data for vaccines. And yesterday they voted to basically give it a thumbs up that the full FDA should provide what's known as an emergency use authorization for Pfizer's vaccine. And I believe the vote was 16 or 17 yes, followed by 4 no's and 1 abstention. That's not a bad vote, considering the circumstances and the uniqueness of the development of this vaccine and the apparent need for it.
And what does an emergency mean? Who gets a vaccine under an emergency rules?
So the emergency rules don't really dictate who gets it, but it has to do with approving the vaccine for use without having as much data as they would like for a blanket approval. They would need a few months more worth of data. Now, by granting the emergency use authorization, they will therefore put the vaccine into use, and they will get that data, and the FDA can reevaluate this in a couple of months to see if they want to grant the full-on, more permanent approval. But the EUA, as they abbreviate it, the way it works is that they say that they believe that a vaccine product it works well enough and is safe enough, and we have a pressing need for it. So we're going to therefore authorize it, and we'll see how well it works.
There was a little bit of a hiccup along the way with the people having allergies or reactions or side effects, but the numbers were pretty small, right?
I believe there were 2 people in the UK after the UK started inoculating people that showed signs of an allergic reaction. Now, these 2 people, so I'm told, were people who, first of all, they were healthcare workers. Second of all, they knew this about themselves, that they get allergy reactions to injections. And 3, they had EpiPens with them, and they knew to recognize their own symptoms and take care of themselves before anything bad would happen. However, as a result, the UK did say that anyone who is in the same situation should not get vaccinated. The FDA is taking that into account for sure. They will probably issue some guidance as part of the EUA about people who suffer from allergies like that. That if they do that, they should it could be anything like either don't take it or take it only in the clinical setting, that they can that someone can assist you if you have a reaction. As opposed to getting it at a retail pharmacy where they may not be set up for that.
I read where Russian health officials were saying no alcohol for 2 months after getting the COVID-19 vaccine. I don't know if they're trying to curb demand or what, but they were pointing out that if you want this thing to work right, you have to take care of yourself, and you don't want to.
Well, the Russian vaccine is different than the Pfizer vaccine. There are a number of different vaccines that will have different conditions for everything. The Pfizer vaccine is not going to have the rules. I don't believe, or I haven't heard that it would have some kind of rule like that you can't have any alcohol. So that makes us question what makes up the Russian vaccine if they have such a stringent concern like that, and especially in Russia, which is you're telling Russians not to drink for 2 months. That's
in the wintertime.
There you go.
So what?
I say that out of love, by the way, but that wasn't a slam.
No, not at all, not at all. What do you see the timeline here? Then what happens next?
So the full FDA now needs to be the ones who grant the emergency use authorizations. That could actually happen today. When it does happen, the U.S. government is ready to start inoculating people. They have a number of doses of this vaccine already staged around the country in every state, and they have more coming off the assembly line. So it's really a matter of probably a couple of days. There have been some varying numbers from the Operation Warp Speed folks saying that we could start inoculating people within 48 hours of approval or 96 hours of an approval. So look, you're looking at really 2 to 4 days probably.
So next week, frontline workers will probably be getting the first vaccinations. All right. Well, we got to get moving in that direction. So the sooner the better. I know the hospitals are full, and the death toll is continues to rise. And as soon as we can get going on it, the better. Eben, we appreciate you coming on the show this morning.
You got it. Take care.
All right, you too. Eben Brown, Fox News correspondent and WJR contributor. We're going to take a quick break here on the Paul W. Smith Show and check traffic and weather with our friend Dana Clark.
This report is sponsored by the Exergen Temporal Scanner. Don't take chances with COVID-19 and your family's health. Use the Exergen Temporal Scanner to check temperatures before dinner and before you leave home. It takes an accurate reading in seconds and is the #1 thermometer recommended by hospitals, doctors, and nurses. Stay safe with Exergen.
That earlier disabled vehicle, Kevin, along the Lodge southbound at Webb, that vehicle is clear. Now, WJR weather first from the Weather Channel. It's going to be a little mixed bag over the next several days. Partly cloudy skies this morning, then clouds, peaks of sunshine in the afternoon, a high of 48 tonight, rain showers. Then steady rain overnight, the low 39. More showers on Saturday, cloudy, periods of rain, thunder possible, but a bit of a warm up, a high of 53 on Sunday, back to normal, cloudy skies and a high of 37. Cloudy, 33 degrees. I'm Dana Clark, WJR News with Dick Hafner in about 3 minutes.
Express car buying made easy at Dick Hubar's Richmond Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram delivers. Huge inventory, big finish now at Dick Hubar's. 100% online vehicle experience only at driveenvy.com. Instant pricing, hassle-free. Build your deal online now during Big Finish. Buy your next car from Dick Hubar's Richmond.
All right. Your next segment's pretty much all taken care of. You're going to have to intro it.
Yeah, and then I'm going to take a little break, so if you don't mind pulling me out of the show for a sec.
Okay, you're going to do that now, or do you want to do it?
No, I'll do it. I'll intro it, and then...
Okay. We'll put the logo up. So Brian and I were talking, I was thinking about this yesterday with the announcement or the first trailer that was announced for the new season of Cobra Kai that's coming out in January on Netflix, and with the popularity of Saved by the Bell, which is on the Peacock Network, and Fuller House, which had a nice run on Netflix. What TV show from your childhood would you like to see them come back with, as if the characters are still around, as the characters are older, and maybe with their kids and the stories that these shows have come up with, because they've been very successful?
Probably like the show for, when that hit me most as a kid was probably like the Brady Bunch that I watched all the time. For if they came back and showed what happened to them and their kids, something like that I could find interesting. Although I think they've done that.
Brian said Happy Days.
Happy Days would be great. Yeah, check in on the Fonz and
right.
Those.
And then another friend of mine said Seinfeld, and I thought that was an interesting one because that wasn't as far back as these were. That was more of a 90s. But it would be interesting to see how the Seinfeld gang would tackle today's issues: social media, politics, COVID. Kramer never left his apartment anyway. So,
I have noticed though that the Hollywood is catching up with new material because their shows are starting to have COVID themes, and people are wearing masks, in the shows and whatnot.
Right. And you saw that Ellen has COVID, and they shut down production at her show for a little bit. Yeah. And then Brian told me that Disney Plus just had a big announcement yesterday about all these movies which are going to go straight to their streaming platform and not so much to the theaters.
Yeah.
And I know how much you've talked in the past of how much you like going to the movies.
Right. I
So
saw. I know we're talking today. We have a movie segment coming up, and one of the movies is going to the theaters. One's going to Netflix, and the one that's going to the theaters, they're so worried about people going that the director of the movie has offered to pay for any companion ticket. So if someone goes, he says he'll pay for your date or your companion. So
There you go.
buy one get one free from the director, who's must be terribly worried about attendance.
I mean, a lot of big movies were pushed back, obviously. I mean, I was excited for the new James Bond movie that hopefully it was better than the last new James Bond movie that came out. And there was a lot of movies that were pushed back. And so a lot of a lot of them are going to the streaming platform. Instead of sending it to the theaters. I feel bad for the people that own the movie theaters. And I don't know if how quickly, even with the vaccines, how quickly people are going to run back to movie theaters. I personally it's kind of like sports almost, where you've got such you can sit at home, you've got your nice television, you can get your popcorn and candy. I guess you just don't have. You can get surround sound with sound bars. You can pretty much replicate into a lot of people have home theaters. You can pretty much replicate the experience of a movie theater at your house, kind of like a sporting event,
right?
Where you don't need to battle all the crowds and all the stuff that you have to do, but going to the games because of the advancement of television.
Yeah, except we have to figure out how to get out of our houses at some point.
Right.
You can make it very, very comfortable, but when you're home all the time, it's a little tough.
I mean, I personally love going to football games in person. I could take or leave baseball or basketball or hockey. I truly like going to football games.
Mm-hmm.
But technology has made it fairly comfortable and fairly easy to just stay at home and just have people over and you can enjoy yourself that way.
And cost, I mean, you think about. I look at those movies and I'm always like, wait, why that movie's $10 to rent, or sometimes 20 now. They started out at $3.99 and $5.
Right.
But man, when we pack up and go to the movie theaters, it's it's $100.
It's still
$100.
cheaper. It's still cheaper to go to the movie theater, sure.
For sure.
So-
And the football or the Tigers, even with parking and getting in, and you get your hot dog, you can burn through $200 pretty quick at the ballpark.
Baseball is a little bit different. Baseball is a little bit different in that a lot of people just go to just kind of just chill out at Comerica Park. It's nice weather. It's have a couple of dogs, a couple of beers, and it's just there's a game going on.
Right.
So it's a little different. Plus, also in the summertime, there's nothing else going on as far as professional sports, where hockey, basketball, football, they overlap when it's normal. So
that's how I kind of look at baseball that way. It doesn't necessarily matter to me who they're playing, and it doesn't matter, and I don't need to be on time either, which is interesting. Like I'd almost rather go just a little bit late or early to dodge the traffic, and leave a little bit early or late to dodge the traffic, just because it's more about just being out there and sitting back and listening to the sounds,
Right. And I've been to plenty of baseball games in my lifetime, so.
Of course, back when they were winning and getting into the playoffs and
that was
the World Series, I was a little more of an aggressive fan than these days.
Yeah. Well, that's how it always works. You get the diehards that are there when they're losing 100 games, and then those diehards lose their seats to everybody else when they make the playoffs. That's always the argument.
Do the Tigers have a manager yet, or?
Yeah, AJ Hinch.
Okay.
Yeah. He's the one who got suspended for a year for cheating with the Astros.
Okay.
And now he's the new manager of the Tigers.
I saw Garnhire retired, and then I lost track of the story.
Yep. All right, here we come.
Yeah, can't do that while sick with the flu. Now imagine family movie night that your daughter can't live without. Well, that's ruined. And don't forget your uncle's socially distanced cookout. Yeah, I think he burned the beef. See, that's why it's important to be at our strongest. Every year, millions of people in the US get the flu. Especially now, no one has time to miss out on moments that matter. So get your flu shot. Find out more at getmyflushot.org. Brought to you by the AMA, CDC, and the Ad Council.
Now back to more Paul W. Smith on WJR. Once again, substituting, here's Kevin Dietz.
Well, the Michigan State University football Spartans have a football game this weekend. They're 2-4 right now, and they are on the road this weekend where they will take on Penn State, who is 2-5. And here to preview the game is Coach Mel Tucker and Steve Courtney. Good morning, guys.
All right, Kev, thank you very much. What we're doing right now, getting you set for the 35th meeting between your Michigan State Spartans and, of course, the Nittany Lions of Penn State. Up for grabs, the Land Grant Trophy. By the way, the Spartans have won 5 of the last 7 meetings with the Nittany Lions. Hopefully that trend continues. Let's talk about it with the fine head coach himself, Mel Tucker. Coach, good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing today?
Everything is well, sir. You know what? Here we go. Theoretically, Coach, 2 games left. And I just have to point out, how proud Spartan Nation is of the work that this 2020 Spartans team has done in the midst of a pandemic. There have been cancellations all over the place. And I know throughout our conversations, Coach, you've been extremely proud of the medical folk at Michigan State because the COVID numbers have been held in check. And obviously, as we know, these days, that is not an easy task.
No, and I really appreciate the support from all of our Spartan fans, all of our supporters, our alumni, our donors, our Spartan dogs out there. I was just talking to President Stanley yesterday about, how proud I was and that I am of our players and how they've dealt with the pandemic and followed the protocols the best that they could. And obviously, Sally Nogle, our head trainer, who's been here, I believe, since 1983, and Dr. Kovan, have set us up for success. And so, because of them and the buy-in that we've gotten from our players and all of our staff, I've got 50 plus staff, with me, plus the trainers and the equipment folks, and then 100 and some plus players. Because of all that, we've been able to continue to practice and play, and that allows us to improve our teams and build on our culture and give us a chance to again play this week on Saturday against the Nittany Lions.
Well, before we preview that one quickly, Coach, I want to get your thoughts on some business in the Big Ten Conference. Obviously, we know that they amended the 6-game rule to allow Ohio State to go on to the championship game against Northwestern. Do you have an immediate thought on that, Coach, one way or the other?
Well, Ohio State's a good football team, and I feel like they can compete with anyone in the country. Obviously, I'm a Big Ten guy. I played at Wisconsin. My wife graduated, did her undergrad at Illinois, and got her law degree from Rutgers. And so I'm always pulling for the Big Ten, and so it's more power to them. They got a good football team, and I wish them all the best.
All right, now as we focus on this tilt against the Nittany Lions, we're talking, Coach, about a ball club that got off to a very slow start. Coach Franklin having to deal with some injuries of his own, but they have found their stride here. They have won 2 straight. Defensively, they had quite a deal against Rutgers, keeping the Scarlet Knights to 0 or negative yards on 45% of the snaps in their win last week. Going to be a challenge for our Spartans going to State College.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Coach Franklin is an outstanding football coach, and he's built a very strong football team, and I've watched him throughout the season, and obviously they had a slow start, but that's really not indicative of what they are right now. And obviously they've improved and they've figured out what they can do well with the guys that they have, and they've continued to develop their team. And so it's going to be a huge challenge for us. Anytime you go into Happy Valley, that you have to bring your A game, and that's our intention.
Looking back on this 2020 campaign, Coach, clearly there's been some moments of brilliance as it applies to our Spartans. However, there have been some moments of mental lapses. Turnovers, Coach, we have talked throughout the year, obviously. Penalties, let's just break it down, averaging 64 yards a game, third worst in the Big Ten. This team can move forward. However, they got to eliminate the mistakes that put them behind the eight ball.
Yes, and we talk about it every week, and taking care of the ball and taking the ball away, winning the line of scrimmage, being able to run the ball and stop the run. Then obviously, not beating yourselves. Have penalties. Every 100 yards in penalties is worth about 7 points, and so those are things that we're working, relentlessly, each and every day to clean those things up and to work to get better on both sides of the ball and on special teams. And it's a grind. But our credit to our coaches and our players, they continue to fight. They come to work every single day, and I'm encouraged by what I've seen this week. I anticipate a strong Spartan team going into Happy Valley on Saturday, and I expect us to play a much better brand of football. And our intentions are to win the football game. And so we know the things that we have to do to put ourselves in a position to do that, and that's what our focus is. And that's we're not going to accept anything less than that. I was very disappointed last week in our performance, and so we've taken that I told those guys on the sideline during the game. I said, remember this feeling, and you never want to feel like this again. Remember that when we start preparing next week, for Penn State, just remember how you feel right now. And so our guys have come with, intense focus this week, and, we're going to come out swinging, and you got to be willing to take a blow, to deliver a blow. And we're certainly willing to do that.
Coach, as always, thank you very much for your time. Much appreciated. All the best in this upcoming tilt against Penn State, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much. We'll see you soon.
You betcha. That is the fine head coach, Mel Tucker. Kev?
All right, Steve Courtney, Coach Mel Tucker. After the break, we're going to check in with head coach of MSU basketball, Tom Izzo. You're listening to the Paul W. Smith Show. Right now, let's check weather and traffic with Dana Clark.
This report is sponsored by Compassion International.
We're all feeling the weight of COVID-19, but for kids in poverty this Christmas, things are desperate. Bring joy to a child when you make your special year-end gift to Compassion International. Just text GIFT to 83393. That's GIFT to 83393.
Right now, Kevin, looking good out there. A 20-minute delay just for trucks across the Blue Water Bridge eastbound between the U.S. and Canada. Now, WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel. Sponsored by Marathon for commutes that feel like concerts, road trips that don't go as planned, or long drives that bring you closer together. Marathon has the fuel to keep your engine running at peak performance. For quality fuel through every mile, fill up at Marathon.
There just will not be enough cold air around to get snow this time around. As we get into December, we should see some colder systems come on in. Right now, it looks like mainly rain, and most of it coming tonight and tomorrow. We cloud over today, 45. Showers early tonight, steady rain late, 39. Cloudy and rainy tomorrow with highs in the low 50s. Drying out by Sunday, colder highs mid-30s. From a Weather Channel meteorologist, Ray Stagicom, News Talk 760 WJR.
This year, Michigan businesses have had to adapt, and the Michigan Economic Development Corporation was right there alongside them, helping to connect businesses to new resources, meet new partners, and access the additional capital they needed right from the start. If your business needs support to reach its new potential, the MEDC is available to help in any way we can. Contact us today for customized business assistance at michiganbusiness.org/partnership.
With all the giving you do during the holidays, wouldn't it be nice to experience something that gives back to you? Visit Lincoln of Troy and experience the feeling you get in a new Lincoln. With the thoughtfully designed and personally crafted features, there's no better way to celebrate the holidays and ring in 2021. The Lincoln Wish List sales event is here. Now when you stop by Lincoln of Troy, you'll find our best offers of the season and experience yourself the power of sanctuary.
Hi, folks. Four-time Stanley Cup champion Darren McCarty here with my friend Jeff Morton, Center Director of Pain Free Life Centers in Troy.
Hey, Darren.
Jeff, people keep asking me about pain-free life centers and whether or not I can help with their pain. I keep hearing the same issue. People with back pain, arthritis, neuropathy, sciatica, post-surgical pain, all sorts of pain that I can't even pronounce. So I want them to hear it directly from the man in charge. Can pain-free life centers help these people?
Of course we can, Darren. Our state-of-the-art, FDA-approved, high-intensity, high-dose laser therapy treats pain at the cellular level. We don't use drugs or injections that just mask the pain. We use real science. This promotes real healing. If you're in pain, give us a call. Your consultation and first treatment, totally free.
So they have nothing to lose, correct?
Nothing to lose but their pain, Darren, just like you did.
You heard it from the man. Call my friends at Pain Free Life Centers today. No surgery, no injections, no drugs, and absolutely no side effects. Call 248-879-1100 or go to painfreelifecenters.com. Do it now.
Family means everything, and no one knows that better than caregivers of aging or disabled loved ones. That care comes straight from the heart. But during this pandemic, a caregiver's role can be exhausting and overwhelming. Your local area agency on aging is here to support you while you support your family, so you can continue to give them the safest and best in-home care. Whether you're seeking the emotional reassurance of a support group, education and information to improve care, or just a break from your 24/7 routine, your local area agency on aging can connect you to the resources you need. To get started, just visit michigan.gov/AASA. That's michigan.gov/AASA. We're here for you, so you can be there for the ones you love. A message from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services.
Hiring can be challenging, but ZipRecruiter makes it fast and easy. We talked to Monica Starks, who needed to hire for her company, GS Group.
As the owner of a construction company, finding the right people is a very difficult task. So I use ZipRecruiter.
ZipRecruiter finds the right people for your job and actively invites them to apply.
With ZipRecruiter, we've hired everyone from accountants to project managers to field scientists.
And now you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. At ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
What's the perfect holiday gift this holiday season? Untucked shirts. They're the comfortable, easy-to-wear styles every guy loves. And there's never been a better time to buy because everything at Untucked is on sale right now. Untucked shirts are designed to be worn untucked, so they help guys to look sharp and feel comfortable. Who wouldn't love to unwrap one of our iconic wrinkle-free button-downs, super soft flannels, and our famous polos? So don't wait. Our holiday sale is the best time to find the perfect shirt at untucked.com or at 80-plus Untucked stores. Untucked, shirts designed to be worn untucked.
It's a year in which we witnessed countless acts of heroism. 760 WJR celebrates our extraordinary Michigan military, first responders, frontline workers, and their families. WJR's Christmas on Us honors 5 special families and rewards them with gifts, spending cash, and more. Join us in our effort. Visit WJR.com to nominate a deserving military member, first responder, or frontline worker. WJR's Christmas on Us is brought to you in part by Guernsey Farms Dairy, McLaren Healthcare, the Beebe family, and presented by Ahee Jewelers.
Let's face it, life looks a little different. During these times, we're doing our best to keep our minds and bodies strong. And getting a flu shot helps us stay healthy, so we don't miss out on what matters. Like celebrating Grandma's 50th wedding anniversary with close family. Yeah, can't do that while sick with the flu. Now imagine family movie night that your daughter can't live without. Well, that's ruined. And don't forget your uncle's socially distanced cookout. Yeah, I think he burned the beef. See, that's why it's important to be at our strongest. Every year, millions of people in the U.S. get the flu. Especially now, no one has time to miss out on moments that matter. So get your flu shot. Find out more at getmyflushot.org. Brought to you by the AMA, CDC, and the Ad Council.
Now back to more Paul W. Smith on WJR. Once again substituting, here's Kevin Dietz.
The Michigan State Spartans basketball team is 5-0 and climbing up in the national rankings after a couple of in-state wins. Their big matchup with Virginia was postponed due to COVID, but they're back in East Lansing getting ready for Sunday's game with Oakland University. And joining us now is Steve Courtney. Steve, how are you?
All right there, Kev. Before we talk about Michigan State hoops, just some unfinished business with our previous conversation with Mel Tucker, the fine head football coach at MSU. The tilt coming up Saturday afternoon with the Nittany Lions in State College has been moved from 3:30 to noon. Just wanted to get that word out. That is official. Oklahoma, West Virginia, supposed to go off at 3:30 on ABC. That game was canceled due to COVID, so they turned to Michigan State, Penn State again. That will be at Beaver Stadium, and it will now kick off at noon, which means we will have all the coverage you need getting underway at 10:30 on the TCF Bank Spartan Media Network, which, of course, includes the Blowtorch, WJR. Kev, interesting deal there. I was giddy to watch Michigan State, now number 4 in all the land, get together with number 18 Virginia on Wednesday night. As a matter of fact, Tom Izzo and the Spartans, they got on a plane and took off for Charlottesville in Virginia. So they're minding their own business. It's 11:30 Tuesday night, and they receive word that the game will not go off, all part of the ACC Big Ten Challenge. And this is college basketball in 2020. I know when we have a chance to talk to Magnum TI, he is going to be displeased to, head out there. You're there in the hotel, getting ready to play, and the plug is pulled. This is the first cancellation for Michigan State basketball, and I hate to say it, but it may be the norm. We'll have to wait and see, Kev.
They sure look good. I watched them play against Western Michigan, and I was really looking forward to that Virginia game as well. But they really look like a team that could be a serious contender this year.
Well, they're so deep, and there's no question about it. And I know that's what Tom really likes about this 2020 Spartan Ball Club. The thing about the Virginia tilt, it was going to be a nice dynamic. You had Joey Hauser going against his brother Sam now with Virginia. But it just seems like, and we've had our conversations with Magnum TI, that there's going to be a different Spartan standing up each and every night. And I think from a head coach's standpoint, this is what you want. You treasure depth, and that's exactly what the Spartans have. I mean, they can go big, they can go small. They've got a defensive lineup. It's just a lot of fun to watch. Now, obviously, there are no guarantees, and the X factor is this whole COVID thing. Mike Krzyzewski, after losing his second non-conference tilt at home at Cameron Indoor to Illinois, questioned outright whether or not the college basketball season should continue in this pandemic. Well, he got some backlash, in particular Alabama's head coach Nate Oates saying, hey, would Coach K be saying that if he hadn't lost 2 non-conference games already at home, which is unheard of? So, yeah, it's a dicey situation moving forward, and we know the disappointment that Tom Izzo and the Spartans with Cassius Winston, Xavier Tillman, many predicting that they would be well on their way to perhaps a national championship a year ago until everything was canceled. So it's been disappointment. So we'll see.
The Oakland University game should be really good on Sunday. We watched Oakland University take Michigan into double overtime. I mean, they're a good program out there.
Yeah, Coach Campy, a little up against it right now. The Golden Grizzlies are 0-6, and they have. When you take a look at the results. They lose at Michigan. That was their closest endeavor of the season, falling 81-71. Most recently, losing to Oklahoma State 84-71. But one thing about Coach Campy going against Michigan State at Breslin, by the way, that's a noon tip come Sunday. He's going to have them ready to go. These two teams have had some epic battles in the past. There's no doubt about it. And by the way, with our Lions conflict, just to get the word out, Michigan State, the broadcast begins at 11 with Will Tiemann and the rest of the boys in the band. That will be on our sister station, 93.1, as we get things ready on JR for the Lions and Packers.
Yeah, what a year. I heard you talking to Coach Mel Tucker about the vote in Ohio State being allowed to go forward, but you don't even know go forward to where. I mean, if COVID hits one of the final four teams, that will suddenly be gone too. It's like you get fired up for these contests, and then you don't really know if they're going to happen or not, and if everyone's going to be healthy or not. It's really been something.
Well, it's got to take its toll. I mean, no matter what college, what professional team you are, I mean, you are preparing for a game that may or may not happen, as we've seen. I think the medical staff, Kev, at Michigan State has done an amazing job with football, and so far, obviously, with basketball, it has not been an issue. And it's just an amazing deal moving forward, how it's going to be handled. I know there are many under the impression that, with the numbers spiking as they are in this great nation, would the Big Ten ever say, all right, Ohio State, Northwestern, you're going to play in the championship game? Because remember, there's going to be a ninth game, supposed to be a crossover, if you will, the day of the Big Ten championship. Does it get to that point? We'll have to wait and see. I know I'm looking forward to the Spartans and the Nittany Lions. Again, that game moved to noon on Saturday.
Well, I'm glad we have sports. I'm glad we got football Saturday and basketball Sunday. Looking forward to it. Steve, thanks for jumping in.
All right, Kev. Have a great weekend, my friend.
Yeah, you too. You too. Be safe. Right now, we're going to take a quick break on the Paul W. Smith Show and check weather and traffic with Dana Clark.
This report is sponsored by Compassion International.
We're all feeling the weight of COVID-19, but for kids in poverty this Christmas, things are desperate. Bring joy to a child when you make your special year-end gift to Compassion International. Just text GIFT to 83393. That's GIFT to 83393.
Just a 20-minute delay now, Kevin, in Port Huron across the Blue Water Bridge traveling eastbound between the U.S. and Canada. That's just for trucks. A reminder about upcoming construction tonight, 94 both directions between Gratiot and 75 at 9 p.m. tonight. All lanes will shut down for bridge beam setting. They will reopen those lanes both directions at 5 a.m. on Monday. Now, WJR weather first from the Weather Channel. Expecting a little bit of everything, but no snow. It's going to warm up on Saturday, hitting in the lower 50s. So we get rain instead of snow. Fog, 32 degrees. Currently, we'll see some peaks of sunshine and clouds later. A high of 48 tonight. Rain showers, then steady rain overnight. Your low 39. So for Saturday, cloudy, thunder possible, rain, a high of 53. Would be snow, but we're going to be in the 50s, so we get the rain instead. And then on Sunday, back to normal, cloudy skies, a high of 37. I'm Dana Clark, WJR News with Dick Hafner in 2 minutes.
Time to get your fix of Lions news. Here's Lions Daily with WJR's Steve Courtney.
Since taking over, interim head coach Darrell Bevell has had, a certain mantra. The game until you see zeros on the scoreboard, then you take it from there. Here he describes it.
So you'll have Dick again at 8:05.
Good. Look forward to it.
So are you a fan of Ben and Jerry's ice cream?
Yeah, their ice cream's amazing, except for the calorie count. If you ever look at the calorie count, it's like you get one of those little cartons and it'll be like, 5,000 calories, 8 spoons. But yeah, what's going on with Ben and Jerry?
So the Ben and Jerry's came out with a new frozen dessert called Change the World Non-Dairy Frozen Dessert. And who was on the container? None other than Colin Kaepernick.
Ah, okay. All right.
Now, I actually have been to the Ben and Jerry's headquarters twice.
Where is that located?
It's in Vermont.
Okay.
So I think it's in Jefferson, or it's in Stowe, Vermont, I think. And my aunt and uncle used to have had a timeshare called Smuggler's Notch in Jefferson, Vermont, I think it was. And we used to go to the Ben and Jerry's all the time. I would go there in the wintertime. I also go there in the summertime sometimes. And in the summertime, what they do at Ben and Jerry's is they have, at least back then, they have all these lawn chairs out, and they have a giant movie screen on top of the main building. and they show a movie at night. So you go and you get your Ben and Jerry's ice cream, and you sit and watch the movie.
That's cool.
I went twice, 2 different times. Same movie showing.
Maybe it's the same movie every night.
I don't know. Same movie.
What was it?
It was
it a classic?
It was the Gene Wilder Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
They probably have a very small list of movies they play as to not, I don't know, to stay in theme or to, because that sounds like a kind of a Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, ice cream candy. That sounds like a Ben and Jerry kind of movie.
I guess, but both times it's the same movie. I mean, I was a little disappointed.
Were those different years?
Yeah. I was like, both times I come in, they show the same movie. I don't know. But yeah, so that is a new. It has on it. Let's see. It's topped. It's a non-dairy dessert topped with fudge, graham crackers, and chocolate chip cookies.
Does it give you a calorie count on there, buddy?
No, I don't think it's giving me a calorie. I don't think it's got me a calorie count. No.
Their ice cream is really good, though. That's when the COVID lockdown first started. We, my daughter would say, "Can we brave a Ben and Jerry's run?" And I'd go up into the store with my bandana and my gloves on and get like 5 of those Ben and Jerry's out of the thing and load them in the freezer. They were early comfort food, but then when we started checking the scales, we had to stop on our Ben and Jerry runs.
It's funny you mentioned that because my brother he lives in Canton over there by that big IKEA off of Ford Road, and on Ford Road there is a Dunkin' Donuts Baskin Robbins combo place. And I really enjoy the chocolate chip milkshake from Baskin Robbins. Until my brother decided to look up the calorie count on it, and then shamed me into never ordering it again. So now I can't enjoy my chocolate chip milkshakes from Baskin Robbins anymore.
You can. You just have to. You just got to make it. Once a quarter treat.
I was shamed by my brother on the calorie count on that.
Hey, don't tell me how many calories are in the McRib because I don't want that. I don't want you to ruin the McRib.
Brian loves the McRib.
I know. We were talking about that the other day. Last time I was here.
Yeah, Brian.
What's not to love?
Yeah. I'm not. I've never tasted the McRib, but I don't think I want to taste the McRib. I don't know.
Really? Do you like ribs? Regular ribs?
Yeah, ribs are fine. Beef ribs, but yeah, I mean,
it's.
But
it is what it is. You know?
Yeah, sure. Everybody's got their stuff, of course. Yeah, but But yeah, so the Ben and Jerry's, it's an interesting place to go up there in Vermont. They got all the flavors there, and you sit around and watch the same movie, and then you go home.
Now I want to go and see if they play that movie every night.
If you happen to go to Vermont and the Ben and Jerry's headquarters, please let me know if they still do it, what movie they're showing, and if it is Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Right. I'm surprised nobody's chimed in yet. I'm sure someone else has been up there.
Yeah. It was a pretty cool little place to go. You could go skiing, and then in the summer you could go play tennis and hike. It was kind of a neat place because they lived in Boston, so it was a short drive to go visit them and then go up to their timeshare there. But it's just funny that Colin Kaepernick, before the NFL re-signs him, he gets signed by Ben and Jerry's.
That's been quite a story from how that started to how that finished.
Yeah. Yep. So because he also signed a big deal with Nike too last year, I think it was. So
yeah, I remember reading that.
So yeah, so he's doing okay. All right, we're gonna be coming back here. We'll get you on with Dick.
All right, thanks.
Hey, Sean the Legion here for Wigley's famous Eastern Market corned beef. Living in Metro Detroit my whole life, I've been a fan of Wigley's for years. From the old world flavor found in the time-honored family recipe to the consistent quality, Wigley's has been an Eastern Market staple since 1924. Now, it's the best time of the year to enjoy Wigley's corned beef. Whether gathering with friends to root on the green and white or maize and blue, tailgating at home for our Detroit Lions, or celebrating with loved ones during the upcoming holiday season. I invite you to head on down to beautiful Eastern Market and pick up some Wigley's today. Wigley's is cooked to perfection every time. Or if you're really daring and you're the master of your own pit, you can even smoke Wigley's corned beef at home like I do. For more information and market hours, call 888-WIGGLEYS or go to Wiggleys.com. That's Wiggleys.com.
From the great voice of the Great Lakes, this is Paul W. Smith on WJR with Kevin Dietz filling in for Paul.
Good morning on this Friday, December 11th, 2020. We're looking at another beautiful day with higher than normal temperatures. We appreciate you taking a little time to stop by and listen to WJR 760, where Detroit comes to talk. We're also live on Facebook. We have a little programming note today. Please make time to listen to WJR today between 10:30 and 11 a.m. as we salute the retiring Dick Hafner during the Frank Beckman Show. And Dick's final newscast and Parting Wisdom will be at 11:30 a.m. today. I know I will be listening, and I hope you are as well. Speaking of Facebook Live, the message board is just booming this morning with well-wishing for Dick Hafner and his retirement. Cynthia writes, Dick Hafner, I've been listening to you and WJR for most of your career. Started out as a kid because my parents were avid WJR listeners. I've always appreciated your journalism style of presenting the facts and not your opinion during the news. I grew up with and followed many of the news stories you investigated. You will be missed. Enjoyed your retirement. Well said, Cynthia. And David says, congratulations, Dick. I hope that your fish stories are as accurate as your news stories. If they are not, that just means that you are enjoying your retirement. And joining us now is Dick Hafner. Dick, how are you on this day?
Kevin, I am peachy. I couldn't be better. I am 100%.
100%. So much love for you out here. This is amazing. I'm having so much fun.
No, I'm really amazed. And as far as the fish stories go, there'll be a lot of stories, but they won't be as big as my news stories.
No. I like it. Dick Hafner, 51 years. I imagine 2020 will be up there with some of the top news-making years between COVID and the election. And what a wild and crazy year we've been through this year. But 51 years in radio, unbelievable, unheard of, really.
Yeah, and we had another message from our boss, our Cumulus Media boss, Mary Berner, who occasionally sends out little videos internally to us company employees, and she usually has some words of wisdom because she always passes along some personal anecdotes, and they're very interesting and entertaining. And then in one of them, she described that her granddaddy, as she put it, her granddaddy, who lived through the Spanish flu pandemic early in the last century, and of course many other things in a long life, would occasionally pass down his wisdom of getting through hard times to the younger folks in her family. And he had a very simple way of doing it, she said. He would say, it happened, and then it was over. And I am feeling quite a lot like that today.
It happened, and then it was over. A lot of things happened along the way for you. I know, I think, over the years, when I run into people and they stop me to talk about news in the news business, they'll ask me about Kwame Kilpatrick. I get associated with that. Of course, I covered it daily for about 7 years as that
you were
saga
a champion on that.
went on. And I just wonder what are some of the big stories that stick with you as you look back on 51 years.
Well, we did have a few scoops. Myself and my colleagues here, and in my time, some pretty big ones. Of course, we did the Nancy Kerrigan whack on the knee. I was first with the baby of Coleman Young.
6
years after the baby was born, nobody knew the existence of this baby until I got a call from someone who had filed the paperwork on behalf of Coleman Young's old flame, old girlfriend. And then it got socked away in the Wayne County court files, only somebody spotted it and called me. I had to verify this, and fortunately I got a hold of the key lawyer who had filed it. He said, yep, it happened, and explained it to me. And then he said, nobody else is going to get this, Dick, because I'm flying away on a vacation. so we had that story. And
you sure you didn't buy him a ticket to go on vacation so no one else could catch up with you? Give you the story to yourself?
Dearly have done that, but he had already paid for it, and he was kind of a rich guy, and I wasn't, so he didn't need.
That was a big story.
It really was a big story.
That was really swirling around, and people a lot of talk, and then Coleman Young Jr. He changed his name and ran for office.
To Joel Loving, yes.
Joel Loving, right?
Joel Loving, yep. And then we had a murder mystery. Which we got a tip on that had not been handled right by the county authorities in Wayne County and in Detroit. A murder mystery actually out of Westland. It wasn't Detroit, but it was a Wayne County case. And our star reporter, the late Rod Hansen, got that call and then told me about it. And we both decided, yeah, we need to investigate this. Well, Rod did the heavy lifting on this case, and I just gave him whatever guidance I could give him and a little production and writing help. And Rod, with my looking over the shoulder, put together what amounted to a murder investigation from start to finish, and eventually found the killer of a woman who was in a trailer park who got raped and killed in Westland. A man was convicted for that, and he was the wrong guy, and we figured it out. We found the right guy, put him in the file of the prosecutor, who looked at our evidence and said, yep, you're right. And they prosecuted and convicted the right guy and took the wrong guy out of prison. So we were very proud of that, and proved that, yes, you can go back and do a flat out pure investigation if you do it the right way, and something good can happen for someone for whom something bad happened. And he is still around and free today because of that great effort by our great Rod Hansen.
He was terrific. I spent so much time with him over at federal court. Just loved Rod. He was the man. But it just goes to show you. I mean, you go to work and you do your job, and you change lives. In this way, it was a big and profound way. Freeing someone from a prison sentence that was innocent is unbelievable. There's no bigger achievement you can have, I don't think, in the news business. But every day in the little news reports as well, you just keep you come to work, you do your job, and you help make your community a better place, which is what's so great about the career you chose.
Well, it's the path that we all chose in news, right? We all feel that we're doing something good for our community, and that's really what keeps us going. Many of my colleagues, not me necessarily, but many other people I've worked with have figured, I could be doing something else and be making a lot more money, but I won't be doing what I would do for my community if I was doing that, and certainly wouldn't be having as much fun. Kevin, I have fun every day, all these years. Every day, I don't know what I'm going to encounter. Everything is different, and we get to go to the word factory every day and make these stories that are unpredictable once you start your day. And it has just made everything fun, wonderful fun, and fly by so fast.
Well, on behalf of a grateful community, we thank you and salute you for 51 years of dedicated service. Thanks so much. All right, we're going to
can't thank you enough, and I can't thank my colleagues enough, and most of all, I can't thank our listeners enough. They are why I am here.
Could not say it any better than that. You're listening to the Paul W. Smith Show. We'll take a quick break and check with our other friend, Dana Clark.
This report is sponsored by the Exergen Temporal Scanner. These may be uncertain times, but what is certain is that every family needs a reliable thermometer. Protect your family with the Exergen Temporal Scanner, the only home thermometer used and recommended by hospitals, physicians, and clinics. Stay safe with Exergen.
Kevin, seeing a disabled vehicle in Warren along 696 westbound at Van Dyke. It is blocking the left shoulder. 30-minute delay now for trucks across the Blue Water Bridge eastbound between the U.S. and Canada. Now, WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel, sponsored by the National Electrical Contractors Association, NECA, and IBEW Local 58, put the expertise and skill of NECA signatory contractors and IBEW electricians to work on your commercial, public, industrial, or residential construction project. Safety and proper PPE use matter more than ever. Start safe, stay safe. Visit poweringmichigansfuture.com.
Next front on the march. Storm system associated with that front pushing through, and looks like it's going to be rain for the weekend. Some clouds around as we go through this morning, mostly cloudy into the afternoon, 45. The rain comes in late tonight, 39. A chilly rain tomorrow, highs in the low 50s. We should get the rain out by Sunday. From a Weather Channel, meteorologist Ray Stajic on News Talk 760 WJR.
Hey, this year, we've all been taking actions to keep ourselves and our loved ones healthy, like wearing a face covering and minimizing contact with others whenever we're out in public. And now that flu season is upon us, my friends at Blue Cross Michigan want to remind everyone that there's never been a more important time to get the flu shot. It's a smart, safe, and simple way
to
protect yourself as well as
Get your movie cap on, Kev.
Yeah.
People healthy from seasonal illnesses like the flu. We can
We'll have that coming up in a second here.
Resources and allow healthcare workers to continue to focus their efforts in the fight against COVID-19. So, this flu season, give it a shot. You can get one at your doctor's office or, like I did, at a participating pharmacy. There also may be additional resources available within your community or through your place of employment. Plus, if you are lucky enough to be a Blue Cross or Blue Care Network member, you can get a flu shot at no cost. So,
Have you heard about this new health tracking bracelet that Amazon has called the Halo Band?
No.
It's a new health tracking bracelet with a microphone and an app that tells you everything that's wrong with you.
That's a
If
long list.
you haven't exercised or slept enough, if your body has too much fat, the Halo app appears in a 3D rendering of your body to show you.
That that technology, that AR, augmented reality, is incredible. The 3D imaging, especially for medical. I think people are gonna live forever. I don't know how we're gonna pay for it, but people are gonna live a long time.
And even if your tone of your voice is overbearing or irritated, the Halo determines after listening through its tiny microphone on the wrist.
Really, just tells you need some sleep, need some rest.
Yeah. All right, we're coming back here.
All right.
Cookie cutter portfolios like the rest of us. Nope.
Investments tailors portfolios to meet each client's goals and needs.
But you do sell investments that earn you high commissions, right? And make commissions when you make trades for your clients?
No, Fisher Investments doesn't sell any commission investment.
Hey, everybody, how you doing?
So what's in it for you? Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when our clients do better.
I don't want that bracelet.
I know, right? We know when you're out of shape.
Fisher Investments.
I have enough people telling me. I don't need
You don't
my
need
watch
nobody
telling
to
me.
tell you.
Fisher Investments, clearly different money management.
Investments in securities.
Tell me to go out to the backyard and put myself down.
Smith on WJR. Substituting, here's Kevin Dietz.
It is Friday, the 11th of December, and on Friday we like to check in on the movies. And joining us now is Greg Russell and Dana Clark. Hello, happy Friday.
Hello, how are you?
Yay! we are running out of things to watch at the Dietz house. I think we've watched everything that's ever been made, but luckily they are still putting out more for us to watch. We got a couple new movies this weekend, huh?
Yep, that's for sure. a really good one coming out on Netflix called The Prom, which was actually a play on Broadway. And what it deals with is this group on Broadway. They do a play, kind of gets knocked a little bit, but then they hear about this controversy going on in this Indiana town. So they think, we're going to take this up as our mission. Because what had happened was a high school prom is ready to happen. These two girls just wanted to go together, and, it just kind of made the news. So they go to this town and try and, just go in and make everything much better. And the thing is, Kevin, Dana, I mean, this thing has an all-star cast. I mean, you got Meryl Streep in it. Also Nicole Kidman, James Corden, Mary Kay Place, Tracy Ullman. Also, Detroit's own Keegan-Michael Key is in this thing. Only thing missing are the June Taylor dancers.
And Kerry Washington, too. Love her.
Kerry Washington, right.
Yeah.
Duh.
Yeah.
Almost
A lot
right,
of people.
because there's just so many people. But it's a musical. So if any of you like, I know, Dana, you do. I love you.
Yes,
You like your
yes,
musicals.
yes.
So you'll get a kick out of this. I mean, it's, very well, put together, and just kind of this nice story, just about, how we all should, as we keep talking about, just all embracing each other, no matter what our differences are.
And this is another Ryan Murphy production. He's been quite busy. He's trying to keep up with Tyler Perry.
I know Tyler's probably going, why didn't I get
What's happening? Who's this guy?
Right. Where'd it go?
I know we got a clip of The Prom. Let's listen to a little bit of that.
Hello, interweb. My name is Emma Nolan, and I'm 17. You might have heard about the prom in Indiana. I just want to go to prom like any other kid.
Oh my gosh, check this out. It's all over Twitter. She wanted to take her girlfriend to the high school prom, and the PTA canceled it.
We have got to go down there.
Yes.
Raise holy hell.
We will be the biggest thing to happen in Indiana since whatever's happened in Indiana.
But all the kids always go together anyway.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't have a date, you get your girlfriend, you get your guy friends, go, hey.
Right. But yeah, it was very well acted. The song, I give it credit, because I've seen some musicals as of late where all of a sudden you break into a song and you're going, why?
Exactly.
Point. But this one, they all come in at the right time and they're all about the right thing. So yeah, it's a good one, just to kick back, and especially, I know, like I was in High School Musicals, and I'm quite sure you guys were too, so yeah, it's just kind of this, nice movie. So yeah, definitely check it out.
And that's on
And
Netflix.
that's Netflix. Yeah.
Right.
Today.
So
And-
free 99.
Yes.
We like that.
If
We
you
like
have
that. And the other one, is this other one, Fatale, is that going to the theaters?
I think in certain areas, where it's open across the country, but also it'll be streaming. Actually, this movie was made by some friends of mine, but they ironically were able to get, Hilary Swank to be in it, and Michael Ealy. And with the name,
hot.
That's what even got Hillary into the movie. She didn't know who Michael was.
What?
And they sent her a picture, and she's
Are
like,
you serious?
I'm in. Put me in. I'll do it for free. But
And it's friend of yours, Greg. Why are you not in this movie? Or are you?
no, I'm not. But I'm
Oh.
doing the next one. I already said that. I said if I promote this, then you got to put
Right.
But in the beginning, I originally thought, if you see the commercials or whatever, I thought it was going to be a remake of like Fatal Attraction.
Yes, that's what I thought.
Happens is Michael Ealy's character. He and his wife are having problems. He goes to Las Vegas for a friend's bachelor party, meets Hilary Swank in a bar, and boom. But actually, this thing has some more interesting twists that go on. Because again, don't want to give anything away, but yeah, you follow it and you're kind of going, oh, okay, now I see this red herring. I see this one. I mean, in all honesty, I mean, it's a fun little movie. It's almost like a Lifetime movie. And Dana, you know how much I love Lifetime movies.
Me too. They're all the same.
It is, because there are certain parts where you are watching this one going, Kevin, are you kidding? Really?
Right. When you talk to the screen, it's a good Lifetime movie.
Is this like Hallmark when you wait for the Christmas Miracle?
There you go.
But like I said, the thing that I did like though was it did not take the same road as Fatal Attraction. I mean, I loved that movie back in the day, like most people did. But it does go another turn. And so it's just interesting to see how they get that way. So if you get the opportunity, I mean, it's going to be on certain streaming services, as well. Want to take a chance, check it out. I mean, we're not looking at any Academy Award winner, here per se, except for the fact that Hillary has 2. But
let's take a little listen to that clip.
What was that?
The detective's here. She's gonna be taking over.
I'm certain I know you from somewhere.
I don't think so. Look, I have a marriage to protect.
You're afraid I'm gonna expose you to your wife?
It wasn't a robbery.
Can you think of anyone who might want to harm you?
Friends? Family? Or a woman you discarded?
Definitely has that lifetime-ish feel.
It does. It really does. And I have to say this much. Hillary Swank, I've interviewed her many times over the years. Great person, nice person to talk to. She plays crazy very well in this.
Oh, yeah, she does. Yeah.
I mean, geez, it's like, okay.
The music they use really
Yes.
sets you up for it. It just gets
It
me. I'm
does,
already
yeah.
like,
And I nominate Michael Ealy for the sexiest man for 2021.
He's already got your vote.
23.
He's already got my vote.
Great. But there you go. Yeah, that's what's happening this weekend. And just like you said, Kevin, I mean, there's so much stuff now. If you still haven't checked out the Queen's Gambit on Netflix,
Yeah, so good.
Is great. Yeah.
We've been playing chess ever since.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Trev always beats me, but, I try.
They sent me a really nice chess set, so I've got to learn. Rita and I keep saying,
yeah.
I downloaded an app and it'll coach you through the moves and it'll
that's what I
show
need.
you how it'll teach you get you there. Yeah, it's pretty good. I did that too. I think a lot of the country's been doing that. And we just binged that other Nicole Kidman movie.
Undoing. I
yes.
heard. I'm not going to waste my time on that one.
I don't know. These days, we watch everything now. So
Right.
it doesn't
Right.
matter.
You said that. You're like, whatever's on, we're watching it.
Hey, honey, there's a new commercial on. Come on.
Right.
Where's the popcorn?
Fantastic. All right, Greg Gressel, Dana Clark, thanks so much for setting our weekend up with some
Bye,
entertainment.
Greg.
Appreciate
Bye,
it.
Dana. Take care, Kev. Always a pleasure seeing you.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. We'll take a quick break here on the Paul W. Smith Show. Check weather and traffic with Dana Clark.
This report is sponsored by the Exergen Temporal Scanner. These may be uncertain times, but what is certain is that every family needs a reliable thermometer. Protect your family with the Exergen Temporal Scanner, the only home thermometer used and recommended by hospitals, physicians, and clinics. Stay safe with Exergen.
Still seeing that disabled vehicle, I should say, Kevin, along 696 westbound at Van Dyke. That vehicle is blocking the left shoulder. Now a 40-minute delay for trucks across the Blue Water Bridge eastbound between the U.S. and Canada. Now, WJR weather first from the Weather Channel. Starting off cloudy and foggy, 32 degrees. Warming up nicely today, a high of 48. Hopefully seeing some peaks of sunshine this afternoon. Tonight, those rain showers roll in. Steady rain overnight, your low 39. A warm up on Saturday, cloudy, rain, thunder possible, a high of 53. On Sunday, back to normal, overcast, and a high of 37. I'm Dana Clark, WJR News, with Dick Hafner in 2 minutes.
Paul W. Smith here to deliver holiday greetings from Phil Monroe, Lisa Banish, and our friends at the Capitol Grill. If you're looking for a great idea for someone on your gift list, consider a Capitol Grill gift card. Treat your friends and colleagues to the exceptional experience you've come to expect. Purchases of $500 or more will receive 10% in bonus gift cards, as well as a mahogany case with 4 perfectly balanced steak knives. Capitol Grill gift cards have no restrictions and never expire.
Hello.
Did you see that, Kevin, that the Kardashians will be coming back to television?
No, I saw though that they were not on some list of. It was, I think People Magazine put out their 100 something celebrity list, and there weren't any Kardashians or
Really?
Jenners on it.
They're going to be back in 2021 on Hulu and Star streaming as part of the deal they inked with Disney.
Okay.
So they're going to have new content for 2021.
I gotta tell you, I've missed all of the Kardashian content. They could start over. I don't know, where I've been or what I've been doing, but I sort of just missed out on all that. I didn't understand it. I don't think when it first started, and then never really got into it.
Are you a fan of reality television?
I don't mind it. It's on here and there. I don't watch it closely. I remember, back in the early days, watching one of the Survivors, either the first or the second one, and you can get really into it once you get into it. It's like a soap opera or something.
Right.
But most of my that kind of TV watching. I used to watch Storage Wars.
Okay.
And I like $1 Million Listing. You know what that is? It's like a real estate show, that kind of thing. But I've never seen a Housewives of Anywhere. The Kardashians weren't housewives, were they?
They were on E, and it was just about their life.
Yeah.
I think it was a Ryan Seacrest production, if I'm not mistaken. I think he was the executive producer of that show.
Okay. I remember trying a Wahlburger show that was about their restaurant and their family, and the mom was a great little character in that show. I remember seeing a few of those. Usually that's like late at night if I'm not quite ready to go to sleep, but I don't want to get too involved in something. I'll find that.
I used to at a previous radio station. I worked with a guy who was on Survivor, who was from here locally. He was the one who got kicked off, got voted out for eating the beans. Clarence Black.
Okay.
He was on the third season on Survivor Africa. He had actually tried out to go on to Big Brother, but Big Brother sent him to Survivor.
Oh, really? Huh.
Since they're like on the same network. So
there was a local guy from Brother Ice who went to he fell in the fire in Survivor one year and got sent home, medevaced out, and then the chef was either in the first year or second year.
He was in the second. He was in the same. He was in the same one with Michael Skupin.
That must have been the one I watched.
Yeah, that was Australia. Yeah, that was their second season.
Okay.
Yeah, they've had 40 different seasons.
I know some people who've watched them all. I was done after. I mean, I got the hang of it. I understood it. Then I think I was done. The first one, I guess I remember the finale of the first one. It was that heavier guy who lost a lot of weight during his time on the island. I can't remember his name.
Richard Hatch. Yeah, he was the first one who he won the first one. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I guess I just watch a little bit of that stuff. You know what I'd like to watch, which is I guess is not reality TV, but it reminds me of it, is Shark Tank. I'll go to CNBC cool. And just try. That seems like it's on every night, and watch a little bit of that.
You gotta love Mark Cuban.
Yeah,
and that guy from Canada. What's it, Mr. Wonderful or whatever you call him?
Oh yeah, Mr. Wonderful.
Yeah,
he's not. He's not from Canada, is he? The other guy on the end.
I thought he was from Canada.
Perkovic is from Canada.
Oh, okay. I thought he was from Canada.
Maybe he is. I don't know that he's not.
He does those. He does those commercials now for the cleaning product they use for bathrooms.
Right.
That you can you can just buy the tablets or whatever. Yeah, Shark Tank's a cool show. They've had some good successes off of Shark Tank.
Oh yeah. They and I kind of like watching the reruns because you can kind of see if the product made it, or if you heard of it, or if they had one on the other day that was Sponge Daddy or whatever, and it's like one of the most successful, ultimately became one of the most successful, and then you watch it in its original thing, and these guys are like, that's a dumb idea, that's terrible idea.
It's like those guys that used to do those infomercials before, like the Ron Popeil guy, the set it and forget it guy, or the guy, or the chop guy, whatever that was.
We just got a new George Foreman.
The Foreman, yeah.
Our old, I don't know how long we had the old one, but it disappeared or broken or something, and we just got another one. We're like, hey, this thing's great.
Talk about a guy who became almost as popular as his boxing career, George Foreman.
Right. And probably more people know him for the little sandwich maker than
Do you
known
think?
for
Do you
boxing.
think? Do you think that more people know George Foreman for his grill than they do for his boxing
I
career?
do. I really do.
Might
Yeah.
be right. Might be right.
He had a heck of a boxing career, but that
Yeah.
was a long time ago in a smaller audience. This
know.
is college kids and women and men and everybody. Everybody's got to have the grill.
Here we come. You got your guesses all set to go.
And change the kitty litter. But he also saved $25 because Daryl uses a new innovation from Huntington called Money Scout. It analyzes his checking account to find money that's not being used and moves it to his savings automatically. Learn more and enroll at huntington.com/moneyscout. Huntington, welcome. Message and data rates may apply to text alerts. Money Scout is subject to eligibility, terms and conditions, and other account agreements. Member FDIC.
Now back to more Paul W. Smith on WJR. Once again substituting, here's Kevin Dietz.
Well, COVID-19 has put a stop to an awful lot of things in 2020, but it has not stopped the Salvation Army's Secret Santa from rescuing Christmas this year. For the 8th consecutive year, a South African gold cougaran was found in a red kettle, this time at the Kroger's in St. Clair Shores. Since 2013, a mystery man and a generous man, or maybe not even a man, it could be a woman, we don't know, but an individual has deposited a cougaran into the red kettle, and it's always around the same time in the same location. And here to talk about the red kettle and the cougaran is our good friend, Major Matt Grindle of the Salvation Army. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Good to be with you this morning.
So by now, year 8, you guys must be on the lookout for this cougaran every year.
Yeah. So, well, this is my first year in the Warren area, and they tell me this has gone on since 2013, and that in fact, with the value of these coins over the years, it's amounted to about a $10,000 gift to the Salvation Army by some individual who's been very generous with the Salvation Army over the years.
Yeah, I don't know the exact going rate of the cougaran, but it's a little bit over $1,000, and that is a very nice and generous thing that somebody out there, some good Samaritan, is out there doing. Tell us a little bit about how the program's going this year with COVID, and how it's different and how it's the same.
Well, in many ways, it's very much the same, just with a lot of protection, and all of our ringers wearing masks and some kind of social distancing to try to keep people safe. We have actually implemented a QR code on our stands where people can, just scan it with their phone, and it takes them to a website to make a donation. But our kettles are sort of struggling a little bit. The biggest challenge we have is volunteers this year, but also the fact that more people are shopping online and not actually going to the stores. But for me, Christmas wouldn't be Christmas without our bell ringers out ringing and bringing in the season and raising dollars to meet the needs of local people in our community who are struggling during this time.
Have you guys gone online and done some virtual donating and volunteering?
Yeah, there isn't a method for doing that, setting up a online red kettle, and we've seen a number of people doing that. But people have been able to contribute to us online and through the mail for many, many years. But our kettle effort is just during the Christmas season. It's a substantial amount of our annual funds that we raise, and we are down some, but we're doing the best we can and hope to see that pick up.
Yeah, so if you want to text a gift, it's 24365. You can also online, you can go to salemish.org, or you could call 877-SALE-MISH and help out this year. It's needed more than ever. Tell us a little bit about where the donations go and what they're used for.
Well, in our location, we have a homeless shelter for families. We do rental assistance. We do utility assistance and a myriad of other kinds of assistance that are available. Of course, during the Christmas time, we'll be adopting well over probably 550 families, possibly more. They're still coming in even now. We have volunteers setting up a toy shop to distribute these toys. We're going to do it a little bit differently this year because of the fact we're dealing with a global pandemic. But it's still going to occur, and we're still going to do what we can to make sure that children don't go without and families don't go without during the Christmas season.
Yeah, and there's no better feeling than dropping a donation into a red kettle, because you know it's going to help somebody. It's so needed. A $100 donation provides a week's worth of meals for a family of four. And we know, and we've seen this all around the country, when food pantries are opening up, and there's fewer of those because of COVID too, the lines are massive. The need is real. Many people, for the first time ever, are finding themselves needing help to feed the family this year in 2020. And, to have, someone like the Salvation Army there who's dependable and who has done this and knows how to get the donations to the people is so crucial.
Yeah, in fact, we've been doing food assistance and seeing a substantial increase both in our appointments that we do throughout the week, which we do contactless right now, and as well as on Wednesdays we have our drive-through pantry, and we've just seen large numbers of people coming through for that. People perhaps that have never reached out to us before. So this has been a challenging season, and we're praying that things will begin to turn around with that. But yet, at the same time, we want to be available to meet the needs of our neighbors and people right here in our community that are struggling at this time.
So if people want to come and volunteer, you guys have kettles available. You could use some help putting more people out there to encourage more donations.
Absolutely, we can use volunteers for bell ringing particularly, and people want to call the Corps 586-754-7400. They could sign up to help ring the bell, or they could go online to registertoring.org with the Salvation Army. There's ways to get hooked up for that, but we also are utilizing volunteers to help put together our toy shop. And because of the fact that we really want to only have so many people because of social distancing and being very careful, we need more time and fewer volunteers at the same time. So it's kind of an odd thing to do, and it's a challenge under this kind of a situation, but we're going to get it done. So we're hoping to look for people who are interested in volunteering in that form too.
All right. Well, a very generous mystery donor got us started with a Krugerrand that was dropped off, valued at over $1,000. The goal is $8 million this year, and we need to do some work to get there. So we encourage everybody to find a red kettle and drop in a donation. Major Matt Grindle, thanks for joining us on the Paul W. Smith Show today.
You're welcome. Thanks for giving me some time.
Have a fantastic holiday. You're listening to the Paul W. Smith Show. We'll take a quick break to check traffic and weather with Dana Clark.
This report is sponsored by the Exergen Temporal Scanner. Don't take chances with COVID-19 and your family's health. Use the Exergen Temporal Scanner to check temperatures before dinner and before you leave home. It takes an accurate reading in seconds and is the #1 thermometer recommended by hospitals, doctors, and nurses. Stay safe with Exergen.
Traffic Burst sponsored by Shelving.com. Finish the year strong and save 11% on industrial storage from Shelving.com. Double your floor space instantly with modular mezzanines, or maximize vertical height with in-stock Unirack pallet racking up to 20 feet high. Don't miss 11% off the storage your business needs with code WRAPUP11. That's Shelving.com. We rack your world. New accident in St. Clair Shores along 12 Mile at 94. Disabled vehicle still trying to clear the area. That's in Warren. 696 westbound at Van Dyke. That vehicle is blocking the left shoulder. Now, WJR weather first from the Weather Channel, sponsored by Primetime Testing Laboratory, specializing in automotive interior mechanical testing. If it's in the car, Primetime Testing tests it all. They are the automotive industry's most accurate test reporting and guaranteed on-time delivery. For your next automotive project, hire Primetime Testing Lab. Get a free quote at primetimetestinglab.com. That's primetimetestinglab.com.
Sorry, snow lovers, going to have to go north up in the northern parts of Michigan and experience any snow from this system coming in for tomorrow. Seeing the clouds thicken up here this morning and into the afternoon. If not cloudy yet, you will be 45. Showers early tonight, steadier rain later, chilly 39. Saturday, periods of rain, highs low 50s. Sunday, mostly cloudy, colder, mid-30s. From the Weather Channel, meteorologist Ray Stidgick on News Talk 760 WJR.
You could win car washes for an entire year with an unlimited Club Express exterior membership from Jack's Car Wash. Text keyword car wash to 800-859-0957 to be entered. That's keyword car wash as one word with no spaces to 800-859-0957. Standard message and data rates apply. For official rules and alternative entry, visit WJR.com. Wash your car as often as you want. The Jack's Unlimited Club plan start at $21.99.
Hiring can be challenging, but ZipRecruiter makes it fast and easy. We talked to Monica Starks, who needed to hire for her company, GS Group.
As the owner of a construction company, finding the right people is a very difficult task. So I use ZipRecruiter.
ZipRecruiter finds the right people for your job and actively invites them to apply.
With ZipRecruiter, we've hired everyone from accountants to project managers to field scientists.
And now you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. At ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
What's the perfect holiday gift this holiday season? Untucked shirts. They're the comfortable, easy-to-wear styles every guy loves. And there's never been a better time to buy because everything in Untucked is on sale right now. Untucked shirts are designed to be worn untucked, so they help guys to look sharp and feel comfortable. Who wouldn't love to unwrap one of our iconic wrinkle-free button-downs, super soft flannels, and our famous polos? So don't wait. Our holiday sale is the best time to find the perfect shirt at untucked.com or at 80-plus Untucked stores. Untucked, shirts designed to be worn untucked.
Hey, Ken, our team partners want to thank our listeners for their business through these challenging times.
I know a lot of companies out there that aren't able to gain new business because there aren't any home shows going on.
Well, if you or someone you know are looking to grow by reaching the best radio listeners in the world, visit theinsideoutsideguys.com.
Continuing to look for the best qualified residential and commercial construction companies in Michigan to refer to our loyal listeners.
That's theinsideoutsideguys.com.
The Inside Outside Guys is sponsored in part by Granite Source of Michigan.
Thinking about upgrading that kitchen, bath, bar, or fireplace with new granite, marble, or quartz countertop? Well, thousands of Metro Detroiters are choosing Granite Source of Michigan.
Our kitchen is gorgeous because of our new countertops. From beginning to end, each step of the process has been handled professionally. Good job.
Granite Source of Michigan is the #1 provider of natural stone countertops and backsplashes. From fabrication to installation, get a free edging upgrade with a purchase of a new kitchen countertop. Visit granitesourceofmichigan.com.
760 WJR celebrates our extraordinary Michigan military, first responders, frontline workers, and their families. WJR's Christmas on Us honors 5 special families and rewards them with gifts, spending cash, and more. Visit WJR.com to nominate a deserving military member, first responder, or frontline worker. WJR's Christmas on Us is brought to you in part by the Michigan Center for Fertility and Women's Health, Warren Consolidated Schools, Oxford Recovery Center, and presented by Ahee Jewelers.
Now back to more Paul W. Smith on WJR. Once again substituting, here's Kevin Dietz.
Our final tally for the 2020 Radiothon is $1,519,041. It is an all-time record. There you go. We have never broken anything close to that. God bless you all. Thank you all.
Since its first broadcast in 2012, Mitch Albom's annual Radiothons have raised over $8 million to help the poor, the homeless, families without homes, children without medical care, students trying to get to college, and veterans who've hit hard times. And this year it has been especially hard with COVID, which has caused shelters to shrink the number of guests they can house. Yesterday, Mitch Albom was at Somerset Collection, convincing so many of his friends and fans to donate, and as you just heard, they delivered big time. Let's bring Mitch in to tell you all about it. Good morning, Mitch.
Good morning, Kevin. How are you?
I'm doing great. What a day yesterday. Wow. I was listening in the morning when Hoda called in from the Today Show with a $25,000 donation. And then a little later, Dave Coulier from Full House fame, Michigander, called in with a generous donation. It is just fabulous to see people stepping up, especially this year.
Well, it was. And, you know, we were very braced for not a down year, but a lower year. I mean, it's COVID and everybody's kind of worried about their own money and hard to get people involved. But right from the early stages, I started to notice that the contributions were, you know, sort of double what they had been in years past. And I was saying to somebody, this is weird. You know, normally we're calling out like $20 this, $50. and now there's 100 and it's 150. And then it started to swell, as you mentioned, to a lot of the celebrities who got involved. A lot of the celebrities just come on and say hi and, you know, give a shout out and go. And this time, everybody just felt compelled to give something. There was a stretch there. It was like a 5-minute stretch where Tim Allen ended up on the same line with Matthew Stafford. We're doing this, you know, sort of visually, and they got stuck together by a technical glitch. And so Tim Allen threw out a $20,000 challenge, which is more than he's ever given us. And Matthew Stafford said, "I'll meet that challenge." So it was another $20,000. And then Nate Forbes came on a couple minutes later and said, "I'll meet that challenge." And it was another 20. So we had a $60,000 challenge in 5 minutes. And that was kind of how the day went. And then Tom Gores from the Pistons called in with about 15 minutes left to go and put $250,000 on the pile, which was just remarkable. And so between all that and I don't want to just emphasize celebrities, it wouldn't have gotten to that number if not for normal people and regular people around the state of Michigan kicking in those $5 and $10 and $20 things. And we raised, it keeps going up because there's overnight, stuff comes in. So it's over $1.52 million. And every one of those $1.52 million will go to help needy Detroiters from kids as young as 5 days old all the way up to senior citizens.
Well, that's the thing, Mitch. People are being a little more cautious with their money right now, and when they do give, they want to give somewhere where they know that it's going to get to the people. And that's one thing about Say Detroit is through you, we're able to see and hear the stories of people that are being helped. And so when you give to your radiothon, you know people are being helped, and people who really need the help are getting the help.
Yeah, well, I think that's important, Kevin. I know when I give to charity, I want to give. I want to give a lot, but I want also the comfort of knowing, okay, is this going to pay somebody's salary, or is this going to furnish an office, or is this really getting to the hungry or the needy or the sick? And so I made a decision early on when we formed Say Detroit. I didn't want anybody to ever think about that. So I said, any expenses that come from operating the charity, I'll pay, and let everybody know that they give us $1, $1 goes right out. And that was when, we started with a few bucks. Now that it's, a multi-million-dollar operation, we've maintained that philosophy for the last 15 years. And it does seem to matter to people. And it's our credo, and we'll never break from that. We still don't have an office. We still don't have a lobby. We still don't have ferns or air conditioners to pay for, things like that. We kind of piggyback on, my office and Rosie's car and places like that. And that's where we get the stuff done. But, the important stuff is we are in the community. We are with the Say Play Center out at Lipke Park, our 15-acre facility. We are with the medical center in Highland Park that used to be the old St. John's Hospital and now is the nation's first medical clinic for homeless children. We are in the 50 homes that we've refurbished all throughout the city and given to working families so they can have a place to live. So I think it's much more important to have those places as facilities than a fancy top floor office somewhere.
Oh, absolutely. And as you start to help out and give, you find out how much need there is and how close to home it is.
Yeah. Well, this year especially. I mean, I think one of the things, we had a lot of people, very impressive people from around the country, from Hugh Jackman to Kate Hudson to Hoda Kotb to Katie Couric to Lyle Lovett and Hank Azaria and Dr. Phil and many, many more. But they don't live in Detroit. And when they heard me say, I think one of the things that was poignant to them, we help support homeless shelters. Well, a homeless shelter under the Detroit Rescue Mission Ministries that had 100 beds now can only have 30 because of COVID. Same place, same facility, same needs, same 100 people, only 30 can come in. What happens to the other 70? You can't just build another, shelter just like that. So now that's 70 homeless people that used to have a place to sleep and can't because of COVID. Where do they go? And think about that for, programs that fight hunger. For our kids, the kids in the community, our Say Play Rec Center is an after-school facility normally, and the kids start showing up about 2:30, and they stay there till 7 o'clock at night and do all the things. Well, now we open our doors at 7 in the morning, and kids start streaming in because they don't have computers at home, they don't have Wi-Fi at home, so they come to our place and they sit there all day. We feed them breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and they go to school in our building because that's what COVID-19 is. And without that, they literally would be either dropping out or falling so far behind they might as well. So this year especially has been a very adaptive year for, say, Detroit on a lot of levels. We opened up COVID-19 centers. We've never done that before. The first ones that you can walk up to. We created a program called Better Together, where we brought police and former incarcerees and at-risk youth together in plain clothes, so nobody knew who anybody was. And we had these big grilling events, barbecue events, and then they sat and started to get to know one another. And programs like that require money to operate, and we thank everybody around the city of Detroit and Michigan for being so generous.
Well, thanks so much, Mitch. Over $1.5 million yesterday. You did a fantastic job getting every penny out of every person that you talked to, and that money will keep trickling in. Fantastic cause. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Kevin. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you as well. And we want to remind everybody to listen in on WJR today from 10:30 to 11 for a special tribute to retiring Dick Hafner. Congratulations on 51 years in the radio news business. You're listening to the Paul W. Smith Show. There's much more coming up with Frank Beckman. Right now, we're going to check in with traffic and weather and Dana Clark.
This report is sponsored by the Exergen Temporal Scanner. But what is certain is that every family.
All right, Kev.
All right, my friend. Thank
job.
you so much. I guess we're going to see you whenever I'm back, like end of the year, 22, 23, somewhere
Something
in there.
like that, yeah. Something
All
like
right, I
that.
guess Ed just won't work with me anymore. I must be too difficult.
Apparently, it's you and I now forever.
That was a fun show. That was great to talk stories with Dick, and thanks to everybody on Facebook who wrote in. I know Dick appreciates it tremendously, and we're going to print these babies up and get them in a scrapbook for Dick.
Yeah, have a good weekend, and Facebook, have a good weekend, guys.
All right, talk to you soon. We'll see you guys.